Hello, lovely people. What's up, Drax? Let the nat 20s roll indeed, my friend.
Oh, you want the nat ones too?
Don't forget the nat ones. You got nat 20s and nat ones tonight. So yes, Bears with a resub. Hey, 2 month streak. Sweet. Thank you very much. Nat ones
Last time I
plays.
streaked, I got in trouble.
Hey.
Last time I streaked, I got in trouble.
Yeah, streaking's a pretty bad idea, but hey.
Especially at the current moment.
Yeah. Streaking at the during lockdown might get you arrested. But yeah, it is what it is. So, obviously, guys, in the chat, I'm going to give us all a sort of 10 to 15 minutes. We've got a competition running for tonight. Tonight is the 1 year anniversary episode of Paradigm Bold. A year ago, we started this journey. Obviously, we started with a couple of different players in the start. We had Gillian and Azalan, our original players. Due to IRL things, we had to replace those two. And
one's died.
we got Fiela and Sadiq joining our party of adventurers a couple of 3 months in. So we'll probably longer than that, actually, probably 6 months in. But so we have made it a year in. Another from April 2019 to April 2020, almost April 2020. Due to obviously COVID-19, we're all stuck at home, or most of us, during quarantine lockdowns and all the rest of it. But so we decided we're going to do an anniversary show. We've got a competition running. So for the next 15 minutes, we're going to take whispers in the Discord or on Twitch. So if you don't have us on Discord, which you can if you !Discord on the chat, if one of the mods can drop that in the chat for me, that'd be awesome. We are predicting natural 20s and natural 1s. So whisper either Yanti or myself in the Discord with your prediction. I'll add it to a notepad, and at the end of the show, we're going to draw it. When if you get closer, whoever either gets it bang on or whoever gets closest to it will win a copy of Doom Eternal, courtesy of Yanti. So again, Yanti, thank you very, very much for donating the prize for the competition. Very much appreciated.
They also will need Steam.
Yes, it'll be on Steam. Yeah. It'll be a gift from Steam, so you'll need to have a Steam account. I think most of us that hang out in this channel all have Steam, so it shouldn't be too bad. So make sure you get your predictions in. You'll have about 15 minutes. The moment I start the recap, the entries will close. So if you haven't got in by then, you'll miss out. Other stipulations: you must be obviously following the Twitch channel, and you must also be subscribed to the YouTube channel. We are 3 subscribers away from getting our custom URL. Episode 30 is available on YouTube. I know it was late. I do apologize for that. With all the lockdown stuff and a few other bits and pieces that was going on IRL, I didn't get a chance to upload it on Tuesday like I was going to. Got sidetracked, forgot, uploaded it yesterday. So I do apologize, but it is available. Because he's a Wally. Shut up, I'm not a Wally. Bit of a douche nugget from time to time, but it is what it is.
No, didn't you? Weren't you playing with your new computer? And
yeah, well, there was that.
Set you back?
There was that, but then, funnily enough, the new computer is now dead.
He killed it.
The motherboard is dead in the water. Motherboard popped this morning. I went to turn it on this morning.
You're joking.
No, I'm not. I turned it on this morning, and it just started recycling power. It would power up, power off, power up, power off. And with all the checks that I spent all day checking the RAM, checking the power supply, checking the graphics card, and it all comes back to the motherboard, which is an Omen branded motherboard. Guys, I'm going to say this a lot over the next couple of weeks. Do not buy Omen branded products. They are fucking crap. Motherboards and PSUs specifically, their peripherals are amazing. Their mice and keyboard and headsets are top quality. I've never had an issue with those stuff. But as far as internals are concerned, on their gaming systems, specifically the HP Omen Obelisk, do not buy it. It is a tragic computer. Internally, the card, the CPU, the RAM, the hard drives are all amazing products. HyperX RAM, 2070 Super graphics card, a Ryzen 7 CPU, all that stuff is really top-notch stuff. The motherboard, the PSU, and the case are crap. Zero airflow. I was idling at 75 degrees Celsius in that case on that motherboard. So, after lockdown, I'll be replacing the motherboard and CPU and going back to dual PC. So I'm back on single PC, but I'm running the RTX 2070, the HyperX RAM and stuff like that. So
that'll be under warranty still, wouldn't it?
nope, because I swapped cases out, so I avoided warranty. The moment I opened that up, the moment I took parts out of that to put into a new case to stop it from overheating and destroying itself, I avoided the warranty.
Nutty.
No, I was very good today. Honestly, and this is no joke. Normally, Nutty knows probably better than anyone. I am a rager. When it comes to things like this, I rage real hard and I get really angry really quickly. And it doesn't take me long to get over it, but normally I would rage so hard. But I'm learning. I'm getting a little softer in my old age, I think. I'm learning.
Mellowing out in your old
Just a little.
age.
I'm a grandfather now. I gotta mellow out a little bit, don't I?
No, fuck that.
So yes.
Bollocks.
So yeah. So I must be learning. So I'm. Well, why is that funny, Blue Jay? I am
really
old.
sucks
I'm nearly
anyway.
50, mate. So.
Wow, that was like the evil witch
I
cake.
know. It was like, what? Why was that so funny, Nutty?
Because I thought you were 450 like
Are
in
you-
a couple
yeah,
of years,
yeah, yeah.
5 years ago.
That's right. Yeah. Nutty fucked up a couple of years ago and thought I was nearly 50 then. But it is what it is. So like I said, it's one of those things. It happens. I take responsibility for voiding the warranty. That was my risk to take by swapping out the case. I said it worked fine all day yesterday, had no issues with it, and then obviously this morning the board just gave up the ghost. But plus side is I'll get a decent motherboard and decent power supply, and I'll have a decent PC, a decent custom built gaming PC in the end of it instead of a pre-built.
If only we'd thought of this earlier.
Well, the thing is, I should know better. I mean, as a gamer, I should know better. I should have bought the parts separately and built it myself from scratch.
And I just learned to say no.
Oh, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
No, that'll never happen. But like I said, it is what it is. It's part of life. You learn, you make mistakes, and you move on. And like I said, it's not really hindering me much. I ran Modern Warfare. I haven't streamed Modern Warfare yet, so that'll be interesting. But I ran Modern Warfare today on this system with the new card and RAM in it, and it ran on ultra settings at about 155 frames average. So I was pretty impressed with that on an older CPU.
Yeah, you're having that stronger card and memory probably.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've gone from apparently because I put my old memory in Nutty's computer because she was running some generic brand which looked like old sort of business desktop RAM in her thing. I put my G-Skill RAM in hers, and it's only running at 1066, which is really kind of odd. Which could be half the issue. What could be half the reason I was having issues, because when I bought it, it said it was 2400, but it's only running at 1066. That may have been misbranded when I bought it. But now I'm running at 2666, which would be a huge difference. But anyway, so we've got another 5 minutes, guys, to get your predictions in if you want to enter into the Doom Eternal competition tonight. Follow the channel, obviously. Sub to the YouTube channel. DM Yanti or myself your prediction, natural 20s, natural 1s, and closest person wins. Well, that's what I mean, Baz. I mean, that that one's done well, and you gamed on that for a while as well.
Yes, I did. Yes, I
I mean,
did.
you ran WoW on that back in the day, and it ran pretty well. So
Yeah, obviously they don't keep up with the test of time, man. That's why I had to buy a new one. But I thought, hey, I'm not throwing this sucker away. I'm going to play D&D on it.
well, I mean, for those purposes, like again, if it came down to it and I wasn't streaming, with the new gaming system, I probably would have put this aside just for that as well, for doing just the basic stuff. I wouldn't throw it away, or I'd set it up for Hunter for basic stuff for him, study link and all that sort of stuff. So, but yeah, so I mean, my current PC is coming up 5 years old. So that's done well. I mean, I did pay for a good gaming PC when I bought it. It was a Core i7 6700. It's H170 gaming motherboard. It's got a 650 watt power supply. I had 32 gig of RAM in it. It was purpose built for gaming, liquid cooler, all that sort of stuff. So
yeah, I did the same thing with my XP and my 7A, and I reckon that's why they lasted so good.
yeah, for sure. Right, so there's the YouTube channel, there, guys. So if you haven't subscribed to YouTube, please do. We only need 3 subs on YouTube to get our custom URL, which would be awesome. We're going to be getting into the recap here in just a moment. So if you don't get your predictions in the next couple of minutes, you will miss out on a chance to win Doom Eternal. We are going to get into tonight's show. We've got a potential combat to start with, and then depending on how things happen, I have we have a few events for tonight that will be a little interesting for the audience and for the players. There is a potential to run maybe half-hour overtime. So Baz, I'm not sure if are you working tomorrow, dude?
Nah, yeah, good. I don't work
Good?
Tuesday.
Sweet.
It is Crystal, so.
Okay, so if we I'm not planning on running overtime, but we may run half hour, maybe 40 minutes over, depending on these events. So just be aware that we may be running a little later than usual. As long as everyone is fine with that, it should be good. But apart from that, we're just about ready to go. So we'll wait a couple more minutes here.
Lockdown makes it easier to stay up late, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's my life anyway. I stay up late all the time. But that's me. I never sleep because I slept today. Holy crap! I was so tired after doing all this crap on the computers and stuff. It drained me completely. Went out a nap.
Not to mention the fact that what time do you come to bed and what time do you get up this morning?
I come to bed about the same time every night, between 2 and 3 a.m. and I'm always awake at 7. As a general rule, I get about 4 hours sleep a night, roughly. But even if I went to bed at midnight, I'd still only get 3 or 4 hours sleep. It's just how I've always been. So, right. No one else has got anything to say before we kick off? No other announcements on the players' side of things? Everyone staying safe, I hope. Is observing the government's rules and regulations. Hand washing, not going out unless you have to. Apparently they've put a ban on national travel now as well. You cannot leave your town unless you are part of essential services. You if you're caught driving around the country with no legitimate reason, you risk potential fines and imprisonment. That was announced yesterday. So that's pretty rough. It's getting there.
Talking about doing a lot of mean type stuff in Victoria because no one's bloody listening to the government.
Yeah, you get a lot of that around here in New Zealand too. You get a lot of kids just on the street hanging out playing basketball.
We've had it here in Taranaki, up here in New Plymouth, with the surfing community. They've all been out surfing. And it's like the police have gone out there and just told them, hey, look, you can't be out here. You really need to go home. But they're gonna start enforcing it eventually. They're not enforcing freedom campers to stay in one spot. Well, the thing is, that's what they're starting to do now, Drax, is basically saying unless you have a legitimate, the only legitimate reason to be out and about now is if you're part of an essential business. If you're not out there doing your essential work, you run the risk of being arrested.
I think they're trying to
Yeah.
find places for the Freedom Campers to actually go and stay
Yeah.
during the lockdown.
But yeah, and that's exactly it as well. I mean, we do have a lot of tourists in this country, especially over the summer.
Lazy
So
terrorists.
Yeah, we've been given special vehicle passes for like businesses like myself who work in essentials.
Yeah.
So if you don't have your vehicle pass on you, they ask for your vehicle pass, and then they ask for your trade license as well. So
yeah,
they've
yeah,
been pretty hardcore. Eh?
and that's it. I mean, it's just gonna get more strict as time goes by. If people keep continuing to not listen to the rules, eventually we'll end up in martial law. I mean, that's pretty much where it's headed. We'll end up with curfews, and if you're out after curfew, you get arrested and put in prison.
Yeah, well, they're talking. It's a $10,000 fine in Victoria if a business is found to be open that doesn't need to be open.
Yeah,
1,600 for an individual person that's breaking the. What was it? There was something they said. It's like pretty much they're trying to just say, okay, if you're not
Yeah.
going to do it because we're asking you to do it, we're going to bloody
And
fine
the
you
New
for
Zealand
doing
police
it.
are pretty much doing it here too. We've had a few businesses that have pretty much said, like, self-declared that they're essential and have remained open, and the police have gone in and shut them down. They've literally gone in there and removed the staff from the premises and closed the business. So they're really starting to push that stuff. Shut up and get the pizza. Yanti says, "Shut up and get the pizza, Pekka."
I heard the doorbell.
I heard the
Didn't hear
doorbell
that.
as well.
Yeah, same here. But Riley's on it anyway, so.
I'm surprised you're still getting
You guys
pizza
don't
delivery.
want pizza?
Mind you, guys aren't level 4 yet, are you?
They leave it at the door and run away.
Right, guys, that is our time up for predictions. We had no extra predictions, so our current competition entries stand as they are. So we're going to get into tonight's recap. Bear with me, I didn't write anything down. I forgot. Sue me. We're just gonna. I do remember most of what happened. So we're going to go over the recap. Players will remind me of things I forget. But last episode, the team found themselves camping in a unsecured location, deciding to camp in the corridor. During that time camped out in the corridor, during the first watch, not much happened. It was the usual sounds of the skittering of the carrion crawlers and the wind through the carrion tunnels and such. Second watch came about with Alessandros. And after a time, Alessandros noticed some figures lurking in the shadows. Couldn't quite tell what or who they were at the time. Decided to wake the group to be safe, and luckily she did, because shortly thereafter the group was approached initially by some drow asking for them to relinquish Fiala. The group refused, and a battle ensued. You battled back and forth, some magical darkness was cast, and some of you took some pretty nasty damage. After a time, the drow seemingly retreated, no real warning, they just vanished. You're not entirely sure why, you're not sure why they wanted Fiala, you're not entirely sure what the motivation was behind it, whether they were trying to assassinate her or kidnap her. Wasn't entirely sure, but after deciding that remaining in the corridor was not a great idea, you retreated back to the main house, where you secured an area and completed a long rest. Then, returning back to the carrion catacombs, you descended back to the tomb, the door in the tomb room, which you entered, found a pit trap on the other side, which Alessandros almost fell into, but Siddiq's quick thinking and relatively brawny frame averted a crisis there. The trap was disarmed, and then you searched the room, found a sarcophagus. Fiala discovered with the Dwarvish language on the sarcophagus and gained a buff for a time with the blessing of a dwarven deity. Inari and Sadiq proceeded to then remove the lid of the sarcophagus in an attempt to search for the magical items you were looking for, only to be inhale some form of noxious gas, which incapacitated Inari for a short time, but they're now both suffering from some form of continual poison damage. I think it was Het that discovered this potentially is going to last for roughly an hour, and you guys are about 25-30 minutes in, so you could still potentially take 1 or 2 more ticks of this damage, which was quite high.
Nari looks like she's the only one that has the poison.
She's got the poison condition.
Okay.
Sadiq does not. So you still have the poison condition, Inari, at this point?
I do.
Actually, no, we didn't. We determined that had worn off when you
I will
reached.
get rid of it.
Yeah, when you reached this crypt, so that condition has worn off. I believe Het, you are still at 1 level of exhaustion.
Yes, but Het has kept that quiet,
But
so
Het
his
has,
party
yeah.
should not know.
Take it off your sheet.
No, what the thing is, like, the players know, but the party does
We
not.
don't know.
I mean, Het's kept it to himself. He's tried to remain thus far, but in saying that, the party, Inari, I think Inari was probably the only one that probably would know, purely because she's also been in the exact same predicament where she has become unconscious and has suffered the same fate. So Inari, and with her passive, probably does know that Het is suffering, but Het is keeping it quiet, and the rest of the group does not know. So that's where we're going to pick up.
Boy.
That is where we're going to pick up tonight's story. You guys have entered into what we will call the egg chamber. Can you guys give me a rough idea of your positioning within the group? Who entered the room first? Was it Alessandros that entered the room?
I think so.
So I'm assuming, roughly from what I remember, Alessandros, Sadiq, Viela, and Het, and then Inari. Roughly that order.
Het would have been close to Inari and Sadiq because he was trying to heal.
Yes,
both.
that's right. So they were that would have been all towards the back. So we'll say, yeah. I'm going to switch over to the battle map pretty much straight away because that's where we ended. So chat, we are now entering into tonight's episode of the Broodmother's, whatever I named it. Whatever's in the title, I can't remember. Broodmother something or other.
Mother's Lair.
Broodmother's Lair, there we go. So, we're just going to find, where is my sounds here? Don't Kevin sounds. Here we go. So, nope, the bot needs to stay on. It's got stuff it's going to do.
Okay.
So, you'll notice a change. The Discord overlay has completely died. I'm not sure what's happening there. I think it's their website. So we are back to an old overlay for the battle map, which is slightly bigger, so it'll probably make it easier for you guys to see. Move this light here a little bit. Just make it change the light. Oh shit, turned it off. Crap, wrong one. There we go. So
Very dark in this room.
it was dark. So there's the group in the start of the room there. So that's pretty much what you guys see. You see in the corners where the little circly bits are. Those are piles of eggs, and they're piled up quite high. So they're almost like 2/3 way up the wall and take up that whole sort of section of the wall. They're piled up on large mounds of that grey-green mucus. It smells really bad in this room, a real sort of acidic kind of smell, enough to sting the nostrils as you enter. You did hear, as you entered the room, the corridor, the sort of opening to your left there, Alessandros, you have noticed it's a large gaping hole, a lot bigger than the other carrion tunnels that you've encountered. and you do indeed hear movement, breathing of such, and from that particular area, it's a weird sort of breathing sound, and it is not a very nice sound.
Now that's creepy. Guys, we've got some heavy breathing to our left. Or is that right?
Left.
I think that's just me, Allie. You know, we had a big battle. I feel maybe a sore throat coming on. Maybe I'm catching something off these two. Are you guys all right? He looks over at Sadiq, and he looks over at Anari.
Good. Thank you.
No, this is not you, Het. This is something else, and it's big. It is real big.
Okie dokie.
Like
Maybe we need to make a plan.
There's a huge ass gaping hole in the wall to the left.
And with that,
Initiative.
comes crashing out of this gaping hole. Don't let the size fool you. The one that's marked with the orange ring, guys, is your carrion broodmother. She is 3 times the size of the crawlers you have currently encountered. She stands 16, 18 feet tall. She looks like she would be around 10 to 15 feet around. She is massive. She is very big, and her tentacles are large and again dripping with that grey mucus, and she is not happy that you have entered her domain. And with that, we will roll initiative. Alessandra, your initiative, please.
Initiative, hang on. Wrong page. Initiative, that's 18.
18. Hit your initiative.
12 for hit.
12 for hit. Fiela.
16.
16. Anari.
Well, for me.
And Sadiq.
21.
Woo! And we will start this combat with Sadiq. You are at the top of the round. You glance to your left as this large beast enters the room and just crashes forward and roars out as you sort of turn and look at it. And it's your turn. What are you going to do?
I'm going to throw my daggers at it.
You know, throw your daggers at it. You throw your daggers. Throw away.
First attack is 19.
19 does hit. Your damage. Your damage.
So that's 9 points of damage.
9 points of piercing damage as the creature sort of rolls into the room. You fire a dagger at it from your position, and you strike it, and it hits it, and it does some damage, but it doesn't seem to really phase it at all, and it just growls at you again. Is that your turn?
Yeah, and second attack is 19 to hit.
That hits.
And another 7 points of damage.
Sadiq is 7 points of damage. Again, you strike it with a dagger, and as it hits, it disappears, returns to you, and the same thing. It sort of just growls at you. I mean, you can see where you've hit it, and it's done a small amount of damage there, but it's just not looking like it's shaken at all. So at this point, Fiala and Anara, you can't, and probably Hit, you guys can't see the crawler, but you can hear her, and you've seen Sadiq fire 2 daggers, and with that, Sadiq, your movement.
I'm going to stay where I am.
You gonna stay where you are? No worries. Next up is Alessandrus.
So how I'm.
So this room is also not lit. So I can't remember. I think Sadiq, your sword was still lit.
Yeah. So
Okay.
there's 12 meters.
So that's slimy shit not glowing then?
Oh, the slimy stuff's not. It's not. You're in there's a 20-foot area of bright light and then 20 feet of dim light outside of that. So the very edges of the room will be sort of in almost darkness, but with your goggles you'd still be able to see outside of that area.
Alright, I'll use Shadow Step to go to the right wall in between the two exits.
You would have to move first because you're in bright light where you are with Sadiq's. So you got 20 feet then into
I'll
dim.
Move, yeah. I'll just move to that area. I should be able to make that, shouldn't I?
The right hand wall?
Yeah.
You can indeed make it right up to pretty much right next to that pile of eggs there. And as you get closer to it, the smell is pretty rancid, and it just the fumes coming from it. You smell it, and it doesn't hurt you, but you know it smells very, very similar to the same smell you guys got when you opened the sarcophagus.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so with that, I'm taking an attack with the longbow.
Attack away.
$23.
That does hit. So 1d8 plus 2. Your damage.
6.
6 points of damage. As you draw and knock your bow, you fire away and you strike the crawler just in the midsection. And again, which I forgot to mention before, but Sadiq, you would have noticed this as well. Every time she's been struck with the arrow and with your daggers, she seemed to emanate a puff of noxious gas extending within sort of 10-15 feet around her body. Doesn't do anything to you guys at this range. You can't smell anything, but you do notice every time she's been struck that this gas just emanates from her body. Alessandrus, you've moved. You've first shot there.
I yell out to the group, don't get close. Some gas coming out.
Okay, free action to yell out. You do so. Next up is the second crawler skittering along the ceiling and coming in and dropping down at the opposite side of the room. It comes out of that same cavern, but it comes across the ceiling, down across, and just drops and hits the ground. And with that, this crawler makes a... Let's see what we can do here. Ooh, nope, not really going to do a whole lot. It's used all its movement. Nope, that's pretty much it for that one. Fiala, you're up.
I would like to cast Conjure Animals.
You can. And which animal are you going to conjure?
Blue dragon. Wormling.
I gotta find my word.
Note to self, don't piss off the Ayla.
I've got a 60-foot range, so I'd like to keep it 30 feet away from the crawlers.
Roger that. Blue dragonling. So you're going to cast it out of the room?
Yes.
Oh, crap, I dropped it. Where'd it go?
He's dropping his figures again. Oh, gee.
Hang on a
Don't
second.
drop your dragon.
Where's my
Going
torch?
for his toes.
The dragon could get angry. I mean, come on.
It's an ankle biter.
It fell on the floor. You know when you drop something, it just disappears? Hate that.
Yup.
I could do that, Drax.
Do you need light, love?
Got a lot. Oh, there it is. Found it. Found it.
You sure it's there?
30 feet into the room.
Yeah,
30
30
feet to the
feet
floor.
away from the crawler. 30 feet away from the crawler. So a distance of in between.
Yeah. So, Elasonus, in a flash of arcane energy, or the nature energy even, it's sort of a puff of sort of dark green, bluey energy, a dragon appears in the room. So, young dragonling now sitting in the room. Fiela, you still have movement.
I'm gonna move in a square in front of Sadiq. Sadiq.
There we go. And so was that your action or bonus action to cast?
Oh, that was my action.
So that's
I'm
part of
gonna
your movement.
Gift of Ashari to Sadiq.
Okay. Roll your heal.
And that's a 10.
10 HP for you. Sadiq, as Fiela reaches out and sort of touches you as she passes by, and the nature energy flows through her hand and into your body, healing you for 10 HP. Is that your turn, Fiela?
That is my turn.
It is now the brood mother's turn. The large worm looks around the room, so that you can see it sort of scanning the room. She notices Alessandra is close to her eggs and charges directly for you. Now, what is her movement? She goes to there, uses her action to charge at you, and now she has a legendary action. She is going to spew bile on you. No, she's not. I lie. She can't do that yet. Or can she? No, she can't. Yes, she can. No, she can't. Never mind. She's not going to do anything. she's going to look down on you, and she's going to do this. And your hair is going to be blowing backwards as she leans down and roars at you. And drops of spittle and bile sort of drip down onto the floor in front of you, and they sizzle as they hit the floor at your feet, almost melting the stonework. You can tell that she is not the type of person you want to be trifling with right now. With that hit, it is your turn. Anara, you're up after that.
Hit moves 15 feet into the room in a diagonal direction between the two carrion crawlers.
There you go, sir.
He looks to the left, he looks to the right, and he says, this isn't good, guys. I'm gonna give you some focus. And he says, pulls out his loot, and he says, fairies wear boots and you gotta believe me. And he casts fairy fire. On the brood mother. She must make a dex save.
A dex save for the brood mother. She rolls a natural 17. Which
some
will
light
be
appears underneath her and then it disappears.
That will be an 18 with her dex modifier. So yeah, as the fairy fire is released, she starts to glow and shimmer just for a second, and then it sort of just dissipates and doesn't take effect.
Hit moves south again, 10 feet to the back wall, and as he does, he says, okay, that didn't work. Next up, try again.
Anari, you are up.
Sorry, GM, 10 feet to the wall that he came from.
Okay. Roger that.
Okay. I would like to make my way out to where, just kind of 2 squares away from Het, towards the middle.
That's 25 feet to there. You still got 5 feet to move. You actually got 15 feet of movement with your first round in combat because you have 40 feet in your first turn.
I am going to cast the bonus action Hail of Thorns at first level on my.
No worries. Hail of Thorns, first level cast.
And then I am going to aim with Sharpshooter at the Brood Mother.
Go for it. Your first attack.
15.
15 with Sharpshooter. That misses. Your second attack with Sharpshooter. Are they all 3 Sharpshooter?
No, I think after that one
Just
I'll
the
go,
first?
oh, maybe I'm just not quite right there.
Okay, so no Sharpshooter this time, so it's just your plus 10 to hit.
A 23 to hit.
That does hit. Roll your third and final damage. A third and final arrow. For your extra attack.
We will go for Sharpshooter with this one.
Sharpshooter with that one, no worries.
18 to hit.
That does hit. So
Yes.
we'll resolve your first damage first. So your first arrow, including Hail of Thorns.
That was without Sharpshooter, wasn't
That was
it?
without Sharpshooter. So 1d8 plus 5. Plus your d10 for Hail of Thorns.
So that's 15 for the first arrow.
15 damage for the first arrow. The first arrow, knocked and fired, finds its target. And does 15 points of piercing damage.
Hang on. You need to make a dex
Save. Hang on, yes, dex save. She rolls a natural 6, so that'll be a failure, so she'll take that 15 damage, that's fine.
Yep.
So as the arrow strikes, she takes the piercing damage, doesn't seem to bother her, but then she's just pummeled with these thorns that are dropped from seemingly nowhere. And Alessandra, you'll also need to make a dex saving throw.
So plus 5 onto 13, that's
18, so you'll take half that damage. How much was your Hail of Thorns damage?
I said 15 altogether, didn't
Yeah,
I?
how
So
much
that
was just-
1d8 plus 5.
How much was your Hail of Thorns damage?
Take 3.
No, you can't get 15 with the 1d8 plus 5.
No, I know you can't get
So what was your Hail of
But-
Thorns damage?
6. So take 3.
So yeah. The 3 points of piercing damage as the Hail of Thorns strike you, Alessandros. And with that attack, Alessandros, you'll also need to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Oh, this sucks. 11.
11, that is a failure. So you will take 6
shit.
points. 6 points of poison damage. It's not a huge amount, but it's so 6 points of poison damage. You now have a thick cloud of green noxious gas around you and the carrion crawler. This cloud heavily obscures everybody. So the next your next attack you'll have to re-roll, Anari, at disadvantage. I'm sorry.
So missed, I only rolled a 2.
So your last arrow with Sharpshooter unfortunately misses as this thick green cloud emanates from the crawler as she was hit with the arrow. And Alessandros also disappears into this cloud of noxious gas. Next up, we're back to the top of the round with Sadiq.
Alright, so I'm gonna put my dagger away, pull out my sword, and go attack this
So you're going to run
noxious
into
gas cloud.
into combat. You'll also you won't take it moving into it. You'll let me read this here. Actually, I was looking at the wrong dude. There is no noxious gas scenario. Your last arrow will hit. So can you roll damage on that, please, with your +10? My apologies, guys. I had the other crawler up. There is a poison cloud, and you do take the damage, Alessandros,
I know.
but
I know.
21 for that.
21 damage.
And
Check
1
your
halathorn.
DMs.
No halathorns on that. It was on your first one only.
Oh, it lasts for a minute.
Yes, I know. Trash. I have that up. That's one I was looking at.
Okay, just making sure.
I was looking at the wrong creature in my encounter.
No, I'm just making sure that's the one I've got up.
You shouldn't have it up anyway. You guys shouldn't be having any creature stats up. So Trash, you can close that window.
Aww.
And I will penalise any player that is caught looking up creature
Alright.
stats in the future. Just
as
a warning.
That's up for a blue dragon. I think that counts.
For you, that's okay. But for players looking up creature stats to see what they do and see how many hit points they have, don't be fooled by that. I use my own hit points and I use some of my own stats. So what you will see will not be what you are seeing in your stat blocks. But yeah, just be aware, players. I will punish players that are caught doing that in the future. Chat. This is what you don't do in D&D.
Insta death.
So with that, sorry about that, Anara. You do take the crawler does take that damage, but again, Alessandro, you're going to have to make another another Constitution saving throw as Anari strikes the crawler again with another arrow.
So I don't get the halathorns with the second.
Not with the second. No, it's only on your first attack after you've cast it.
Do I take 6 points of damage again?
Depends on your con save.
Yeah, it's shit.
Okay, so if you
didn't get past 10.
Didn't get past 10, so it'll be 16 points of poison damage. Again, I was looking at the wrong one before, so I'll let you get away with that. So you're lucky. So 16 points of poison damage as that is struck. Next up is Sadiq, who rolls into combat. Roll your attack.
As Sadiq does that, I yell to Denari, stop attacking with your ranged weapon. These hurts.
And as you do hit it with your range, but you do notice the cloud, and you do notice, you probably don't notice Alessandros. You probably heard the cry from across the room. You can't see her, but she's definitely there. So Sadiq, your turn.
Does my amulet change colour?
No. Your amulet is
cool.
still.
Alright, so 2 attacks.
Two attacks.
First attack is 17.
That hits.
That's 12 points of damage.
12 points of damage. That including fire damage?
No, it's actually radiant.
Including your radiant damage? No worries. So, sorry, what was damage again?
12.
12. Awesome, thank you. Sadiq slashes out with his weapon. First strike, 12 damage. Second strike
Is 17 to
that
hit,
does hit.
and that's 16 points of
And
damage.
that does 16. You lash out twice with Heavenly Executioner, and you do strike this creature a couple of times. As you hit it the second time, it does nothing. It just turns and faces you as you've done the most damage to it. She turns and faces you and breathes heavily on you. With that, your bonus action movement. You've moved. You used half your movement, so you still got half your movement and a bonus action.
Has it been 24 hours since the last time I had my pill?
When you took it last combat, didn't you?
No, I think it was before that one.
I would say yes. I'd say you have. It has,
I'm
yeah.
gonna pop one of the pills as well.
Okay. So as a bonus action, you take one of Sadiq's little pills, and you get your heals over the next couple of rounds of combat. Alessandros, you are up next.
Okay. Following Sadiq's idea, I take a plasma pill.
Bonus action plasma pill, no problem.
Yep. Switch to the rapier
Sure thing.
and attack.
An attack. You will get sneak attack as you have an ally within 5 feet. +6 to hit.
18.
That does hit. 1d8 +3 for your damage and your sneak attack damage.
Alright, here's the D8. 8.
And your sneak attack.
$17. Sneak.
Ooh, lovely. You lash out with your rapier, dropping your plasma pill. You grab your rapier and you lunge forward, finding a soft spot in between the carrion's large, skittering feet as she rears up, and you strike true. And you think you might have found a major organ. She cries out in pain, and that wound is bleeding quite badly. She's looking hurt. She's not anywhere near death, but she's definitely looking like she's taking a bit of damage now. So that was your bonus action. Your action. You still have movement if you wish.
Negative.
She is going to do nothing. With that, it is the other crawler's now turn. Just going to charge forward to the closest person, which happens to be Inari. Inari, from behind, you get attacked. 2 attacks. One with its bite. Crawler bites down on you with a 15 to hit.
Misses.
Pardon? I can't hear you.
Misses.
Misses. And the next attack was the tentacle attack. Hits you with a 23. You will take 6 points of poison damage. And you must make a Constitution saving throw, please. You got a 4. Did you roll a natural 1?
No, I rolled a 3. It was con save, yeah?
Constitution save, not your.
Yeah, Constitution.
You're +1. Holy crap.
4.
4. I was thinking, geez, that's low. You do fail, so you are now poisoned for 1 minute, and you also you also find your muscles locking up, and you find yourself unable to move. You are also paralyzed.
Again?
Yes, you are. No, you were incapacitated before. This is paralyzed. You cannot move. You cannot speak. You are virtually frozen in place. So with that is the carrion's turn. Fiela, you are up.
Okay. I am going to buff with Guardian of Nature.
Guardian Nature.
Which makes me turn into a great tree, gaining advantages on some saving throws. And the ground around me within 15 feet is going to be difficult terrain for my enemies.
What spell is this one?
It's called Guardian of
I
Nature.
see it there. I see it
4th
there.
level.
Bonus action on self. Nature Spirit answers your call and transforms into a powerful guardian. Transform lasts until the spell ends. You choose one of the following forms: Primal Beast or a Great Tree.
Actually, I can't do that because it's concentration, and I'm already got a dragon.
I
So
say,
I'm going to change that.
Okay, no worries. It is a cool
And
spell, though.
And I'm going to 3rd level Cure Wound Inari.
3rd level Cure Wounds, so that's your action. You'll still have a bonus action. So 3rd level Cure Wounds on Inari. So cast your Cure Wounds.
That's 15 healing for her.
15 HP for you, Inari. You still are unable to move, however, but you are healed. You have a bonus action and movement, Fiala.
I'm going to go up to the queen and hit it with my shillelagh.
Strike away.
Which is only an 8, but hopefully I got her attention.
That will miss. You strike her and you seem to find a part of the carapace which is a lot stronger than the rest, and it just glances off. And you haven't really got her attention either. Didn't really do a whole lot. It is now her turn. She is focused on Sadiq, who did the most damage. She's going to make a multi-attack at you, Sadiq. First attack, she's going to bite you. And it looks like she misses with a 14.
Yep.
Second with her tentacle, which is also a miss with a 12. So that damage from you guys has taken its toll. She seems to have slowed a bit, goes to try and bite you. You move out the way. She strikes out with a tentacle and just strikes your armor. She's not going to... she is, however, going to use her venom spray. And Fiala and Sadiq... What's the cone on that? 15-foot cone. So yes, Fiala and Sadiq, I need you to both make a dexterity saving throw for me.
That is a nat 1.
There's your first natural one. Can we get one of the mods to keep track of... Drax, can you keep track of the nat ones? Cheers, buddy.
Nat 20, Drax.
I can do it if you need to.
Well, as long as someone keeps track of them. So that's the first nat one of the night. So Fiala, you will take 10 points of poison damage as she spews a vile spray of poisonous mucus from her gullet. It is sticky, it is grey and green, and it clings to everything and it burns. What was your roll, Sadiq?
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20, you will take half that, so you'll take 5 points of poison damage. Fiala, you will also have disadvantage on all attacks until the end of the Broodmother's next turn. So, so with that hit, it is now your turn.
Sorry, does the dragon go in Fiala's turn or on its own?
Yes, you have. What do you do with your dragon, Fiala?
I think it just joins the initiative.
Let me double check here. Conjure animals. I think you've got to give it a directive as well. Summon creatures are friendly to you and companions. Roll initiative for the summoned creature. So roll initiative for it. And I'll mark it initiative.
3.
So 3, so it's at the bottom of the table. That's fine. It has its own turn. They obey your verbal commands as well. So it doesn't cost you an action. If you don't issue a command, it will just defend itself. But otherwise take no action. So you have to give it a verbal command.
Which doesn't cost an action, so
Nope.
can I just tell it now to attack the carrion crawlers?
You certainly can. Which one specifically?
The one attacking Inari.
Okay, so it will, on your turn, it will move up into, actually no, it won't. It's reasonably intelligent, it's going to move to there. It will get its turn at the bottom of the round. which is not quite there yet. So hit. Thank you for that. It is your turn.
No worries. Hit sees the state of things. He moves back to the opening that they came to, so he's got his back to the opening. No.
The
Sorry,
door?
the opening that... Yeah, sorry, the door. Hell
Done.
no, I don't want to be jumped from behind.
I was just thinking, it's probably not the best place to be.
Dan had seen that Nario's in trouble. He's looking back and forth between the group and Nario, and he says, oh man, this is bad. This is real bad. Okay, first off, Steel Lady, please grant my fellows the abilities they need to win this. And he casts Bless at 3rd level, getting every one of his team, but not the Blue Dragon. So every one of his team gets Bless.
Including yourself?
Including myself, and I am also concentrating.
Roger.
Thank you. Oh, it's so hard.
So everyone is now blessed, and hit you are concentrating. That is your action, I believe.
Correct, that is my action.
Bonus action.
Just remember, team, you get a D4 to add to your attack rolls or saving throws. No, I have no bonus. Well, I have a bonus action, but I have none I can use at this time. So Hit would like to move 5 feet to the right, so he's actually blocking the doorway.
Done.
And
So
this is free action, he calls out, Anari, I'll try and get you next round.
So Anari, it would now be your turn, but you are currently paralyzed. You can't do anything, or let me just double check something to make sure if you can make a save on that. Possibly, I don't think you can. No, you have to make. Yes, you can. You can make another save. So re-roll your con save. It'd be the end of your turn. So.
And use your blessed D4.
And you got the D4 as well.
Nine.
That is still a failure. You are still paralyzed. So it is now the Blue Dragon's turn.
God.
So Blue Dragon, what are you doing?
My dragon would
Yes.
like to cast Lightning Breath
Lightning
at the
Breath.
carrion crawler.
Which is a cone, is it not?
It's a 5-foot line, 30-foot line, 5 foot wide.
Okay,
Dex
cool.
save.
Dex save. Rolled a natural 7. So that would be a failure, I would assume.
All right, I have to count now.
Math, people. Math is hard.
The only downfall about D&D.
He will take 34 points of lightning damage.
34 points of lightning damage as the blue dragonling steps forth, opens its maw, and just lets out a line of lightning firing directly into the carrion crawler right next to you and Ari. You see this bright white flash, then you see the lightning strike the crawler, and it surges through the body of this crawler. A couple of tentacles sort of tense up, and it sort of moves, and the lightning is surging all through it. And you can see blood starting to trickle from the corners of its mouth, and it took a big hit there. Amazingly done. Well done, Blue Dragon.
And Fiala sees this and says, "Who's a good boy?"
Could be a girl.
Could be a girl. She summoned it, so she'd know.
It's a boy.
So with that, is your dragon going? You're going to move?
It's gonna stay.
Stay, right. Back to the top of the round. Sadiq, back to you.
Alright, I'm going to do 2 attacks. I'm going to say both attacks straight away and then do both damages. Alright? So the first
Actually, I'll
attack
have to resolve
is-
your first one first, because she is now at a point where she can get certain reactions.
Okay. So the first one will say that it's a... Oh, crap. What's my attack class? 23 to hit.
That does hit.
17 points of damage.
17 points of damage. strike out and slash at her again, and she roars at you once again and takes that damage. She starts to sort of twitch and move, and it's kind of weird. It's almost like she's phasing a little bit. She's moving in a really rapid pace now. Your second attack.
That'd be dirty 20.
Dirty 20. That does hit. Damage.
And that's 17 damage again.
17 damage again. And with that, she is now about there. Ooh. Yep. So she now, with that final damage from you, Sadiq, sort of reaches down and attempts to swallow you, as she's been reduced to a hit point level now. She's just in a frenzy. She's looking around. She's sort of seeing you. You've done the most damage, so she reaches down to attempt to swallow you. We're going to make a bite attack against you, which is a 16. Does that hit? That does hit. You are now swallowed by the carrion. She bends down and literally swallows you almost whole, right down to your hips. You are blinded and restrained. You also take 10 points of acid damage, which will be continual while you are inside the carrion's maw. So Sadiq is now swallowed. We're just going to remove you from the board there for a second so that you're in the same space as the crawler. So that will end your turn there. You did deal the damage, but she has now swallowed you and you are blind and restrained. Alessandrus, you see this, and it's now your turn.
Attacking with the rapier.
Attack with the rapier. Your attack roll.
14.
14, that does not hit.
Don't forget your blessed D4.
Add your
Oh,
D4.
yeah. +4.
+4, that does hit. 18 does successfully hit. You do not get your sneak attack damage. Actually, no, you do. Fiola's there, so you do get sneak attack damage. So roll your damage. Your rapier damage and your sneak attack.
10 for the rapier.
10 for the rapier.
And 14 for sneak.
24 total. As you do that, she makes a con save, which she fails. Sadiq, you are spit up. She regurgitates you. You fall prone 10 feet away, and you take 4 points of bludgeoning damage as you hit the floor with an almighty thump. As she sort of almost stands completely upright, and you drop 20 feet to the ground prone. You do not take any more acid damage, but you do take the bludgeoning damage as you hit the floor. Yes, Alessandrus, you do have a bonus action now as well. You actually, just 1 second. No, you don't. The carrion crawler, with being hit by that and regurgitating Sadiq, and as he hits the floor, she dives into the stonework, and the stonework cracks beneath your feet. Can I get Fiala and Alessandrus to both make dex saves, please, as she starts burrowing into the stone and disappears and reappears, bursting out of the stonework beneath you. Hit. You'll also need to make a dex save, please.
I got a 17.
You succeed. You do not get turfed off your feet.
25, nat 20.
You also natural 20, guys. There's first
20.
nat 20 and a first natural 1 of the night. So you succeed. Hit your roll.
11.
11. So you just succeed. You get rocked off your feet, and you sort of catch yourself against the door and wall as the crawler bursts out of the ground beside you, frightening the hell out of you because you didn't expect it. You saw it sort of disappear and the rumble, and then it's just come up directly underneath you. With that,
Yikes.
it is now the other crawler's turn, who is going to turn and push in and attack the dragonling, because that heard it a lot and is not happy. So he's going to make 2 attacks at the Dragonling. Christ, both miss. What's Dragonling's AC?
Looking.
I think it's like 15 or something, 14 or 15.
17.
17. Holy crap, definitely misses. The misses with both the bite and the tentacle attack. And that's pretty much that turn. Fiala, you're up.
Okay. I will. How high is the ceiling in this room?
It's about 35 feet.
Do you have a mini of a small bird?
No. Oh, actually, no, I might have. Where is my familiars? In this one? Another one. Small bird. What are we doing? Are you transforming into a small bird?
Yeah, I'm gonna hover over the queen.
I don't have a small bird, but I do have a pseudo dragon, which will.
Giant eagle? You got an eagle, no?
I got a pseudo dragon. It'll serve its purpose. It's a small bird-esque type creature, and you're going to hover over the brood mother.
Yeah, and that's gonna be my turn.
You are now hovering over the brood mother as a small bird. Is that
my hat!
Is that concentration? To
No, it's a wild shape. Because I can wild shape.
Does that break your concentration though?
I can still use a concentration spell.
Okay, just had to double check. So Fiala transforms into a small bird and is now hovering above the carrion's head. With that, so that's your bonus action. Your action will be.
I'm allowed to use my bonus action to give me 1d8 HP, so I'm going to do that.
You can.
Which is just a 4, but
Take
it's
the 4.
something.
And so that's your turn.
That's it.
Next up is the brood mother, who is going to strike out at Het with not 2 but 3 attacks now that she is in a frenzy. So she gets two tentacle attacks. God. 14, a natural 1, second natural 1 of the night, guys, and a 17.
2 of them hit and 1 does not.
So you take 8 points of piercing damage from the bite that hits. You need to make a Constitution saving throw for the tentacle hit, which also does 6 points of poison damage.
8 for the con save.
You are also now poisoned, and paralyzed. You don't have the poison condition, but you are paralyzed as a result of this poison.
And 6 points of
Who
poison.
can
And
join me?
6 points of poison damage. So Het, as she strikes out with the tentacle, you feel your muscles lock up, and you are now unable to move. You can see what's going on. You can make sounds, but you cannot speak. You cannot cast spells. You cannot move.
I can make a concentration save though.
You can make a concentration save to see if you can hold bliss.
5, I do not.
You do not. You had to roll a DC 10. So bliss now fades as well, guys. So no one is blessed anymore.
Don't really make much no difference to me.
Now I know how it feels like to be you.
See? Not good enough.
So yes, so that is the carrion crawler's turn. Next would be Het, but unfortunately, Het is paralyzed. So Het,
when do I make a save for that? At the end of my
at
turn?
the end of your next turn. So at the end of each of your turns, you'd make a save. So you failed your first save.
Can I be a dick and use my GM's inspiration that I've had outstanding to reroll that?
You certainly can.
Because hopefully that would mean I don't lose anything. Never mind, I rolled exactly the same.
So you still are paralyzed. Anari, it would be your turn after hits, but you are also paralyzed. It is now the blue dragon's turn once
she
again.
gets a save.
You do get a save. Sorry, yes.
Please say yes at 13.
No, you are still paralyzed. Unfortunately. Blue dragon. So, Fiela, your command.
Lightning breath again.
Lightning breath again. Straight line.
Yeah,
Dex save of a natural 1. Second natural 1. Third natural 1, sorry.
What does that do for me? Nothing.
Nothing. That is a fail. Well, critical fail. Let's say what dice do you roll for that?
I roll 4d10.
Roll 5d10 for a critical fail.
Oh.
Let's see what happens with a 5d10 critical fail.
$42.
42 points of lightning damage as the dragon once again releases its breath weapon. The crawler cries out in pain and seems to almost look like it wants to retreat. Yeah, really cool. And at this moment, guys, you then notice against the far wall a portal appears.
Crap.
And stepping out is a familiar face, a familiar character to some of you, or probably all of you. The elven Lord of Valon steps through the portal, mutters some arcane words, pointing at the crawler in front of the dragon. And when I bring up his character sheet, 1 second. Almost, I forgot to bring it up. He casts a... What is he going to cast here? He casts a 5th level blight spell as he releases the spell. You watch the carrion crawler, the bane start to sort of swell a dark grey green, and everything sort of starts crawling up its body, and now it reaches its face, and its head virtually explodes as it takes 47 points of necrotic damage and slops backwards on the ground. And he says, quickly, if you're able, through the portal, and we can dispatch this creature, then we must return to Valond. So with that, it is now Sadiq, it is your turn.
I'm gonna get up. No, he wants to go now, right?
Well, that's what he said. I mean, you guys still want to obviously find what you want to find. I mean, it's up to you whether you do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna get up and go and attack the queen, and
so use
also
half your
say
movement to get
him,
up, and you get into melee. That's cool.
Yeah, and I'll also say to he's pretty much our sider now, isn't he?
Well, he's pretty much your guy's employer, more or less. Yeah.
1 moment, please.
And you move forth, striking the broodmother. Roll your attacks. 2 attacks.
First attack, 19 to hit.
That does hit. Roll your second attack.
Second attack, 18 to hit.
They both hit. Resolve your damage.
16 and 15.
So that will be 31 exactly.
Correct.
describe to the chat and your team how you destroy the Broodmother.
Chop her head off.
You remove
Straight
her
out.
head. Sadiq reaches up to his full height, comes down with the Heavenly Executioner, strikes the crawler where you'd sort of assume the head and shoulders would meet. First strike, hacks in, goes in probably about a third, just almost half the way, retracts it, strikes again. The head rolls off to one side, hits the ground, sort of a heavy thump, and she slumps against the wall and sort of drags down the wall, falls dead. You will take with that, both Hit and Sadiq, you'll both take 12 points of poison damage as you are both sprayed with a noxious substance. Fiala Bird is still hovering over there. That will end the combat, guys. It ends the initiative order. Corum sort of looks to you, Sadiq, and says, "Well, I appear to have arrived a little late. Apologies, but you are needed back in Valand. Did you retrieve the items you were looking for?"
No, we're still looking for it.
Oh, right.
Do we have a remove paralyze or something that can help Inari and Hit?
Oh, I can help you with that. And he reaches into his back, pulls out a scroll, and casts Lesser Restoration on both you guys. So you are both now not paralyzed, and also your poison condition, Inari, has ended from previous. Sadiq, your continuous poison damage has also ended. Your pain subsides. You no longer feel that pain in the pit of your bellies. Corum then turns to you all and says, "Well, do you believe that you know where the items are? We really do need to return. The portal will only remain open for another few moments. I will try and hold it open as long as I can."
Assume
Look
they're
at
in
the
here,
Ayla.
right?
Yeah, assuming they're here, we're hoping.
Well,
We only just
yeah. This is where the vision led Fiala. So we are now out of initiative.
Quick, Ellie, run down the corridor and see what else is there.
Should we go and have a look around the corner where that brood
So you're going to look for go down the Broodmother's tunnel lair. You do indeed. You sort of who's going down there? Who's going to investigate?
Yeah, I will.
So
I'll
Alessandros-
go with the sword for the
Okay,
light.
so Alessandros, Sadiq, and Inari, I'll get you all to make a investigation check. I'll just make an investigation roll for me.
Head will watch them with healing spells at ready.
10.
11.
Oh, your rolls are awesome tonight, guys.
I will wild shape out for the
Okay,
story.
25?
25. Okay, so you're the first to notice these things. Sadiq, you're sort of walking around. Inari and Alessandra sort of looking around. The whole cave is covered in the green goop and mucus, and there's a few. You can see a few shiny bits and pieces throughout, almost like she's been collecting things.
Hey, come on, the stench is unbearable.
And the stench is pretty rank as well. But Sadiq, you're solely focused on finding these items. The first item you do find is you sort of walking about halfway down. You notice on the floor to your right there is a flask sort of stuck in the mucus on the wall, which is it's an iron-looking flask. You do find that, which you know is one of the items you're looking for. You do also, after another 5 or so minutes, you find a sword, which you believe is the sword you were looking for, believed to be called Frostbrand.
Excellent. And that was it? That was down here?
Give me 1 second. So yeah, so the iron flask is the one you're looking for. and Frostbrand was the other one. With that investigation, you will also find a scroll of remove curse,
Hand that off to Hit,
and you find a scroll of identify as well.
and hand that to Hit.
And you find about 75 gold as well, just scattered around the place. I mean, you can sort of see this creature's been feeding on things, and it has no use for wealth or anything like that. So it's just deposited all the stuff around the walls. You see other bits of armor that has melted and sort of been destroyed over years, sitting inside this mucus. But those particular items have just not seemed to take any damage at all.
So 75 gold, was it?
75 gold, yeah.
All right, in the bag it goes.
So you have succeeded in retrieving the items you sought. Corum, you hear Corum from behind you guys yells out, "We must go quickly. The portal will close in the next few moments. Quickly now!"
Run.
So
Run.
you all turn and run, and one by one,
Yes.
you disappear through the portal and find yourselves back in the Lord of Valon's manor home. And he says, "Well, I'm glad I was able to reach you. The portal was it's the only second or third time I've been able to cast a spell. I wasn't sure how long I would hold it open. Thorfey came to me and sensed that you guys were potentially struggling with your task, so I only thought it natural that I'd come and aid you as much as I can."
I wouldn't call it struggling.
You looked like you were struggling a little.
We had a couple of interesting moments down there.
Thank you for that.
I believe we've had word that assassins have been sent to try and stop you at any turn. So you must be on your guard. The Fang has issued orders to have you all killed. And he turns to you, Alessandros, and it appears that you are at top of their list, Alessandros.
Awesome.
You have not completed the task that you were sent to do. That is said, be aware, they are looking for you.
I wasn't aware there was a time limit.
Well, obviously there is. I mean, I don't know what they're planning, but I think they may even think that you have something to do with
Unless you were nice.
the slaughter of the Valond faction, since you're the only one of that faction left alive. So, maths, I'm suggesting that they think you're responsible. Hence the contract on your head. Fiela, I'd also believe they are looking for you. I'm not entirely sure why. I've sent out scouts to try and determine what is going on, but please be careful.
So you don't know why the Drow are after her?
Drow? I'm talking about the Fang. Have they employed Drow?
I don't know, but we had...
Well,
Three
it was
Drow
Drow.
came looking for us, but they left. They didn't actually...
Oh.
If they are the assassins, they didn't do what they were meant to do.
So
They didn't sound like
they
were
attacked
after
you, but
Alexandra.
they left, and they didn't kill you?
They were after Fiela.
They seem to have wanted me alive.
Oh, see. Well, I will pass this on to my scouts and see if we can find some more information for you. My suggestion now, you look rather weary and battle-worn. Head back to the guild house, and I will do what I can to find out some more information for you. I will send a messenger to you tomorrow, and hopefully have some more information. Again, if you ever need my assistance, take this. And he hands you another scroll, and it's a scroll of sending. Has 3 charges on it. It's not in D&D Beyond, so just chuck it in your notes. You were able to use the sending spell 3 times.
Okie dokie.
Basically says, if you are in need of help, please don't hesitate in calling me. I will help where I can. I feel like I am not responsible, but I am entwined in this as much as you. So I will aid you as much as I can.
Thank you.
And with that, he says, and the spell is taken out of me. I must rest. So please, I will send you a message tomorrow if I have more information to the guild house. And he said, I must take my leave. And he walks you guys out to the foyer of his home, and his manservant shows you to the door, and he starts heading upstairs. So you guys are now heading back to the guild house. Is there anything you want to discuss on the way? Anywhere you want to go before you go to the guild house?
Just probably restock.
Agreed. Hit needs some more healing potions. He is getting low.
You can do that at the
So
guild
do I.
house as well. You have options to buy that sort of stuff from Jeremy at the guild. The guild has a lot of those things available for you guys as guild members at a reduced rate, as you well know.
Hit also needs a very good rest. Hit is feeling absolutely plastered, and not in the good way.
Do you tell them why you're feeling this way, or are you just saying that?
No, Hit just says that.
Okay.
I'm gonna tap Head on the shoulder and go, yeah, it always hurts when you go down.
Are you speaking from experience?
No, I've never gone down in my life.
Didn't
It
you
feels-
just?
Didn't you just get... Hit feels you would know. You just got eaten by a creature. Hit was just paralyzed.
Oh, I got knocked on my ass. I didn't get knocked out like you did a couple of fights ago.
That's true.
Remember,
I've been there.
I had to step over your incapacitated body to get to what knocked you down. So I understand. You need to rest. Oh, at the same time, can I get the jug off you that's producing oil so I can keep on filling flasks, and you'll have to heal them later on.
Okay.
Holy, spell thingy on it.
Yes, you want the jug of the jug. Yes, you may have the jug. He takes the jug out of his pack and hands it to him. At the same time, he telepathically communicates to Fiala, "Stop healing that guy. I will too."
I
Can-
look at Hit. Sorry, Fiala.
Can I? I tried to think really hard back. Okay.
Well, you are able to reply telepathically, I believe. I'm not entirely sure what. That's a racial for you, is it? Hit?
No, that is to do with my warlock skills. But
Does
I
it
don't
say-
think they can reply.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
you
see,
see
so
my
you can't
eyebrows are
reply.
furrowed really hard.
She's looking
And
at
I'm
you
thinking.
intently, as if to you get the impression she's really trying to reply to you, and you hear nothing.
Hit hopes he understands, but he just carries on handing the jug to Sadiq.
So anything else you guys want to do? And Ari, did you want to say something?
I was just about to say I look at Hit and I look at the others and I look at Hit again and I say, I think we perhaps need to stay for a good 2 days this time. Just to get a good rest.
One full 24 hours would be solid, I reckon.
I wanted to thank everybody for helping me with those drow. I'm not sure where they're from, but seeing you all come together was really good. And I know that you seem like you look a little tired, but if you and Ali and anybody else that wants to come to the water's edge after dark, I'd like to give a gift if I could.
We've heard about your gifts.
She gives wonderful gifts.
What?
So, is anyone going to accept Yala's invitation to
I will.
meet her at on the shores of the city of Valond at in the lake, pretty much on the coast district? You can head into where the ships go, and you can walk sort of 10 or 15 minutes past the end of the docks, and you've got a small beach which has a grassed area where you could all meet. At what just after dark, or what sort of time frames, Fiala?
It'd have to be when the moon is fairly
Moon is
high.
Okay, so you're probably looking about 10, probably 9, 10 o'clock at night. You'd have to be at this particular junction.
So we go have something to eat and then come back.
Okay, so it is agreed. You all head back to the guild house. You open the doors. Jeremy's there doing his thing as always. Sort of looks up and he's looking a lot older than usual. He looks like he's a little bit, probably not sleeping very well. You're back. Welcome back. Is there anything I can get you? Do you need food, ale? By this time, you guys, it's probably late afternoon, probably heading into early evening.
We could get a nap in before we go back to the beach.
Het would like to purchase some health potions if Het can.
Of course, Master Het.
Same.
Of course.
Same.
Just one moment. I'll be right back. And he disappears, and through that same. He always disappears through the same door. And when he's going out for food, he comes back with food. When he's going out for supplies, he comes back with supplies. You guys are not sure where this door goes, but it seems that everything he needs is wherever this is it's just a single door. When he opens it, it looks like it's like a broom closet, but it seems to go wherever he needs it to go.
I'm liking that door more and more.
He, after about 15 minutes, he returns and he comes. He's sort of carrying a large box. Doesn't look like he's struggling with it, but it looks like it's got a bit of weight to it. And he sort of dumps it down on the table and says, "Right. You say healing potions. You were saying we have 1, 2, 3. We got 5 standard healing potions and 4 greater healing potions at the moment. Which would you need?
Greater?
How much for the lot?
For the lot, you're looking at guild discount, 100 gold for the regular, and 150 gold for the greater. So 250 gold total for 5 regular, 3 greater.
Sold.
Oh, all right then. And he pulls them out and slides them across the table. Mark 150 gold off your party funds. I'm assuming you're taking it from there.
Does the guild have
Well done,
access
Ellie.
to potions that counter poisons?
Cure poison. He sort of goes through his bottles.
So
Oh,
how
we've
much
got-
was it all up again?
250 gold. We've got 2 cure poison potions available. We don't really have a great need for it, but we do have a couple.
How much?
That'd be 200 gold for them. They're quite rare.
I'll take them off your hands.
Okay. And he hands it over to you. Inari, you were looking for something.
I would definitely like a pure see poison. It just doesn't do me any good. A cure poison.
Sadiq bought the last 2. Sorry.
I'll hand one to Inari and I'll have.
Okay.
How many greater was there again?
3 greater, 5 regular healing potions.
Done.
Cool. Anything else that you may need? We don't have a lot left. With everyone trying to figure out what's happening with this prophecy and stuff, our supplies are a little low. But is there anything else that we can help you with?
Yeah. In the realm of, say, scrolls and potions, do you have anything that could remove paralysis?
Sort of goes. I don't have any potions. We do have. We have 1 scroll of lesser restoration left. That would definitely remove that kind of condition, I'm sure.
And what's the dollar value on that, my
What
friend?
else? Guild discount, 300 gold.
Sold.
Sold. Sold
Okay.
to Ellie. Ellie, are you picking up this as well, are you?
Well,
Using party funds for that?
Party funds is like 3,025 gold right at the moment. So
Oh yeah,
why
okay.
not?
Party fun, sweet. We'll
Awesome.
work out who carries what later then.
that is done. So awesome.
So what was it again?
300 gold for that, for the Scroll of Lesser Restoration.
I paid for the cure poisons.
Okay. I think that's about it. I think you just about cleaned us out. Do you need any food or ale before you retire for the evening?
Yes, food.
Righto.
Bath.
And he sort of turns. Well, you know where the baths are on the second floor, just at the end of the hall. And I'll go fetch some food and ale. You guys drink whiskey, don't you? Whiskey or ale? Which do you
Mead.
prefer? Mead. Done. And he sort of disappears back through his wall, his door, and disappears. And after about, again, sort of 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, he comes back with plates of hot and raw food, raw meat for you, Het, and plates of hot stew, and a couple of tankards, big tankards, jugs of mead, and one of whiskey as well, if you prefer the harder stuff, and one of water. So you all eat and drink. Is there anything you wanted to discuss while you are eating?
I'm gonna try to, just spitballing it off everyone. Like, what do they think the Drow are actually after Fiala for?
So ask
They
your
as
people.
they as in Coromordan, or
The who?
they as in us?
Well, the Drow, they were after you. Do you know, why they would be after you?
I find it curious that they didn't want to just kill me on the spot and wanted to take me somewhere.
While this conversation is going on, I hand a vial of healing, a potion of healing and greater healing to Het.
Thank you, Dudette.
Do I actually know Fiala's backstory? Can't remember.
No. Well, you know from memory, Fiala has told the group very little. She has told you guys that she was from the Begilia Forest, or that area, the Begilia Mountains. She has told you about her mentor, the man that took her in. But she hasn't really told you much more than that. That's pretty much where she's come from.
Alright, so I'm just gonna... Fiala, anything in your past that you can think of that would make the Drow want to come after?
Anything that I want to tell any of you?
It's up to you if you tell us or not.
I can't think of anything.
Would I know anything about the Drow?
Roll a history check for me.
Seven.
You know of the Drow. You know the Drow are generally they're generally evil beings as such, but they normally work on the side of the opposite side of the law. If they are above ground, they normally spend a lot of time below ground rather than above ground, but they do work on the opposite side of the law. You also know that they are part of the Fang, and they have been used for assassinations and for theft and things like that in the past, but you're not entirely sure what in this instance they would be wanting.
Oh, well, guess we'll find out eventually then.
Well, if that's the case, then they'd be in a lot of trouble because they failed.
Well,
You
they ran away.
assume they failed.
They didn't finish what they started.
As this conversation's going on, Het just falls asleep with a piece of meat in his hand.
Try to pick him up to take him up to his room.
Does anyone have a pen?
You try and pick him up.
Yeah.
Roll a strength check.
I'm gonna.
Now I roll well. I rolled 13.
Even with
So
a
not so
13,
well.
you just don't have the strength. Hit's heavy.
Yeah, he's heavy. I'm helping her as well.
You're looking for a magic marker or a pen, an ink pen. You've got an ink pen, Viola. I would imagine. Or you know, Hit's got an ink pen.
Fiona put one in Hit's back. Well, sort of.
So tempted.
If you want to do it, do it.
Do it.
Hit has passed out.
Just wait until we get him to bed. Oh, that doesn't sound right.
Sounds like an Alexandra's problem.
So, Sadiq, are you going to aid Anari and...
Yeah, I'm going to aid Anari.
So roll a strength check as well, please.
Yeah, I got a 20, dirty.
Dirty 20?
Yay.
Yeah.
So you guys together, and I would assume that you probably all helped to take Hit, who has been instrumental in keeping you guys alive in almost every battle you've been involved in. He is obviously...
Yeah, fuck you, Sadiq.
He is obviously exhausted and just has had a really rough day. So you guys help him up to his room and lay him down on the bed. So what are the rest of you guys doing while Hit takes a well-deserved nap?
I think I need to degoop.
Degoop. Okay, so you're going to go take a bath?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Raya, you go take a bath.
Wrong character.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah. Come on, we've been in goo and crap, so ugh.
So Anari decides to retire and take a bath. What are the rest of you guys doing? By this time, you're probably looking at early evening, 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Would there be a temple open right now?
A temple to Tempest, or just any temple?
Yeah, temple. Temple to Tempest.
You know, I mean, you know your religion. The Tempest, there is a small sort of temple or shrine to Tempest in Valond, and it's generally open 24/7, so you can visit it almost any time you wish.
I'm actually wanting to talk to the clerics to see if I can get them to strengthen the distance on my emblem, so it identifies.
You want to extend it more than 30 feet?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll go with Sadiq here for a moment. After this, we'll take a short break, guys. So Sadiq, you sort of let everyone know that you're going to go visit your temple. You get to the temple and you walk inside there, and there's a few monks sort of floating around, and you notice that one is obviously looks more well dressed than others, and you approach him. And he turns to you and he said, and as he turns, it looks like he's wearing like just regular cleric's robes, but as he turns, you can see he's actually wearing quite fine armor underneath. So you can tell he's probably more of a battle cleric than just a straight cleric. And he turns to you and sort of bows and says, "Tempest guide you. How can I help you?"
I believe I came here last time and I got my amulet, and I show him the Templar's amulet, enchanted with the ability to identify evil fiends and undead, to allow me to, like, know. But it has a limitation of, it will only tell me when they're within 30 feet. I just would like to know, so I'm prepared for the battle if it could be extended.
I'm sure that we can. It would take some time. You would have to leave your amulet with us for a couple of days. But we can. I'm sure we can get the mages and clerics here to increase. You want to increase the range of its aura abilities.
Yes, that would be very handy. But do I really have to leave it with you?
Well, an enchantment of this level will take some time to cast. We have to. I mean, the mages. I mean, the clerics can provide the essence of the enchant, but the mage needs to have it present to complete the incantations. You would have to leave it with us for at least a minimum of a day, preferably two, depending on how far you want to increase its aura.
Well, there's just any increasement. I'm not worried about how far. Just
If you
it
were
would
to
be
leave
nice
it, if you were to leave it with us for a day, we could increase it by 15 feet. I would say at most.
Yes.
If you were to leave it for 2 days, we could increase it to 60.
Oh, 2 days. I'll go with a day and then see what my party are up to at that time. No, sheepishly, it's like very, very cautiously hand it over to him.
And he takes it. He takes it with respect. He understands completely. You see, he's wearing the same amulet around his own neck. He's obviously a devout follower of Tempest, and he also says to you, he sort of goes to turn and then turns and says, and he goes, "You are the one they call Sadiq, yes?"
Yes, that is me.
And he hands you a note or a letter. He says, I have something for you. It came just a couple of days ago, and I have DM'd you the letter."
Alright. I go, thank you. And walk away because I've seen and I know who it's from.
Yep. So, with that, you return back to the guild. So while Sadiq is away, we're going to take a short break, guys. So be with us. We're going to grab a drink and potty break for the players. So
Potty break.
we've got to have a potty break. Pee break, poo break, whatever you're going to take. So I will be right back. It's going to run a short advert. I have to do it, sorry guys, but we'll be right back. And I'm back. I am back. So, Drax, how many nat 20s and nat 1s so far? I think we've had one natural 20 and, 3 or 4 natural 1s? So far. Three nat 1s, 1 nat 20. I'm going to be cheeky and see who's closest, so I'm not going to tell anyone, but so we got a couple that are close. If we have a draw, Yo, Ravine, what's up? In the event, we have 2 people that are similarly close to the end result. What I will do is I will put their name into a hat and I'll roll a dice for it. So if we get 2 people that are close, I'll roll a d6. 1 to 3 will be one person, 4 to 6 will be the other. If we get more, then I'll divide it into whatever dice we need to roll. So that way it makes it 100% fair. I'll roll it on camera. I'll roll it on the battle cam so everyone can see the roll to see that it's legit. So that in the event we have 2 people that are similarly close to the end result, we'll do a dice roll. So chat, welcome to the 1-year anniversary episode of Paradigm Bold. My name's Evldoa. I'm a Kiwi streamer from the country of New Zealand. We are currently on lockdown, but we're still playing D&D because that's what we do. A year ago we started this campaign and it has progressed. All the characters are now level 8. It doesn't seem like a year, but it has been a year since we started. You want to roll on the battle cam? I bet you do, Ravine. But yeah, so we've got a competition running tonight. We've got a few entries into it to see how many natural 1s and natural 20s are rolled. We've had 1 natural 20 and 3 natural 1s thus far through the show. We've got some events coming up that could lead to a few more checks being made. We've had the combat of the night. I think we've had the combat of the night. We may have another one. Never know. May not. But we've got some things happening. But yeah, so again, thank you very, very much to all the players who have been a part of the campaigns thus far, including the 2 players that started the campaign with us that are no longer with us in this campaign. Aslan, aka Neon Reptile. Those of you from Mixer will remember him. Our British friend, and of course Savage Beastco, aka Gillian, the fateful ranger who killed his previous party. Those guys started the campaign with us, and due to IRL complications, were not able to continue. Then we picked up Yanti and Mr. Pecker, friends of Trashman, to join the campaign, and Fiala, aka Yanti, has kindly donated the prize for tonight. So you guys rock. Gung Ho, what's up, dude? Thank you so much for the resub, man. Thank you so much for the raid, Twin Gats. We've got no alerts running, obviously, because of the D&D. I should have turned off the shout out as well. I do apologize. So mods, if we get raided or hosted, can we not shout out tonight? That was my fault. I forgot to turn it off. You found 2 blocks of caramel that you don't like. Oh, that's shocking. So we could run a little bit over time tonight, guys. We've got a little bit to get through yet, so we may be running sort of half hour, 40 minutes, maybe an hour overtime. So just bear with us. With that, I think everyone's back. We've got Nella, we've got a Fiala back, we've got a Hip back, we've got a Sadiq,
Yeah, I'm back.
Nari, and an Alessandris. So we're going to get back into it. Again, enjoy the show, guys. Appreciate you guys being here. Subs, followers, you guys rock. Don't forget to sub to the YouTube channel. 3 subs to go to get our custom URL. Right, so Sadiq, you return from your temple and return to the guild house. While Sadiq is gone, you guys, Hit's still resting. What are the rest of you guys doing in that time waiting for Sadiq to come back?
I have a battle axe in this bag of holding that we have. I want to get it identified because if I remember correctly, it had a blue glowy from what Hit
A
said.
battle axe. I got to look at my notes.
Not a very nice thing to say about Fiala.
That's right, you did find a battle axe. I do remember this.
The old battle axe.
The old battle axe. Let me just bring something up here. I believe you need. You want to go get it identified at Mage's Tower. Will be closed this time. It's after dark, but you might have to do it in the morning. Unless you have a scroll of identify.
I'm not going to use that on that. No.
Okay, so you'll have to do that the next day. That's fine.
And plus, Hit's got it, and I suppose I could go through his bags and all that.
you could.
Yeah, no, I won't do that.
You are a
No,
rogue.
we've still
I
got
mean,
to identify the other items to make sure they're the items that we need.
this
that we're
is
actually
also
looking
very true.
Then we'll wait till tomorrow morning.
Okay, so
I'm going to bed.
you guys have all who agreed to meet Fiala
Oh, yeah, that's right.
at the water's edge
Ali.
at about 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm going.
So is everyone going?
Yeah, I'll go.
Except for Hit, maybe, because he's asleep.
Well, Hit you'll have to wake Hit because Hit wanted to go as well, I believe so. So you can
But Hit is fast asleep,
Yeah, so
so
you
unless
can-
someone wakes him.
yeah, you can wake Hit to take him with you. You guys can take a short rest if you wish.
So I asked
In the meantime?
who's the guy behind the counter again?
Well, Jeremy's the guild entourage
Well,
basically. So he's always floating around.
Hey, Jeremy, could you get us a bucket of water, please?
Hot or cold?
Cold is awesome.
Okay. And he disappears for 5 minutes. Comes back with a large wooden bucket with a rope handle. You know, the old buckets. And comes back with a bucket of cold water and hands it to Alessandros and sort of gives you an odd look. Here you go. What's this
Before we
for?
go on anymore, am I there?
You would probably not be back at this point.
Sorry, Head.
This will probably happen before you returned, I would imagine. You've got your bucket of cold water. Jeremy gives you an odd look, but hands it
It's
to
okay. It's okay, Jeremy. It's for Head. He's thirsty.
I will have already left to prepare, so I won't
Okay.
be there.
you. Yes, you would have. You would have left to prepare yourself. So Alessandros and Anari is the only one there with you at the moment. So
Anari?
You see Alessandros with a bucket of cold water.
Why? Do
Actually, no, you
have-
don't. You're in the bath. So
No, I
Alessandros-
I got out and was coming down to the
No,
water.
you have not. This is not then. You are still in the bath.
Oh,
at this
okay.
point.
No, I'm still in the bath then.
You
if we're not
were
in the water yet.
bathing. You are bathing. Alessandros, you are on your own. Left to your own devices.
Oh, damn, hey. So that's right. Head's in bed, isn't he?
Hit is a bed asleep. Fiala has left to prepare for whatever gift she's going to give you guys. Sadiq has not yet returned from his temple, and Anari is having a bath.
All right, go up to Het and stand beside his bedside and contemplate. Yeah, why not?
First things first, make a stealth check to see if you can
But he-
stealth into his room without him waking. And hit roll a perception check for me. Which would be at disadvantage because you are exhausted.
24.
24 for your stealth check. And hits perception.
$16.
Hit, you do not wake. Alessandros, you are quite stealthy. You've made your way into Hit's room without waking him. Hit is lying face down on his bed, with a head to one side. Not snoring, but he's breathing heavily. Very much like a dragon. And you can occasionally see that puff of cold breath as he breathes out.
Is there a nightstand next to the bed or something?
No, probably like a night table. Like there's probably a small table there with a candle on it.
Put the bucket next to on top of the night table.
Okay.
Dip my hand into the bucket and start flicking water at him.
Hit roll another perception check, again with disadvantage because you are exhausted.
18.
18. You feel something, and you're not sure whether it's a dream or whether it's real, but you feel like you're being hit in the face. But doesn't feel like water. You're not sure what it is, but you definitely feel something, and you sort of stir a little bit.
How cold is it?
Alessandro, how cold is it? It was well water, so it's probably just, it wouldn't be ice cold. He didn't put any ice in it, so it's not ice water. So I would imagine by the time you got up the stairs, it'd probably be room temperature.
Fair enough.
So yeah, so as you're doing this, Alessandro, you see Het stir a little. His eyes sort of flicker, sort of fidgets in his sleep, doesn't turn over, it's still in roughly the same position, face down with head to one side. The arm dangling down the side of the bed.
Oh, okay. So I get the bucket, put it on the floor, and put Het's hand in it.
Okay. How are we going to do this? You're going to have to roll another. You're going to have to roll another perception check to see if you, just basically see if you wake as
17.
As he lifts your hand. You stir and you open one eye, and as you open one eye, you look up directly into Alessandros' face as Shim is lifting your hand and about to place it into this bucket of water. Alessandros, roll a perception check to see if you notice Het's eye open.
Can I go passive on that?
This will be a active roll because you're concentrating on picking his hand up to put it in the water.
16.
You sort of, out of your peripheral, you see that his eye just flick open, and you turn and you look directly at him, and Het's white dragon eye is looking directly at you. Het, what did you want to do?
Het's eyes are red, nonetheless.
Red, sorry, yeah. Well, his dragon eye.
As Het sees this happening, Het calls on his clerical skills and says, grovel, and casts command. You must make a wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom saving throw, Alessandros.
19.
Oh, shit.
Oh, you don't go there. You do not grovel, damn it.
Het, you are now awake. Alessandros has your hand suspended above a bucket of water. You attempted to cast a spell. Alessandros, I'll give you one a reaction before Het. You can then make your next move, whatever you want to do. How do you react, Alessandros?
I use Shadow Step outside the door.
Actually, you probably could, because the room would have been dimly lit because they wouldn't have left a candle playing. So yeah, you just Het. You just see Alessandros, thump, and she's gone, and you hear that same noise just outside the door, and then you hear as Alessandros runs down the hallway and disappears.
Het telepathically communicates as she runs away. Well played, my rogue friend.
Well played, guys. Well played. By this time, Anari, you would have finished your bath. Sadiq, you would have returned from your temple. We're now looking probably about 8:30, 9 o'clock. You know that Fiala has requested your guys' presence on the shores at the northern end of the docks at about 10 o'clock. You know it's going to take you roughly that long to get there. So do you all head out to meet Fiala?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd make sure Het's awake and...
Oh yeah, Het's awake.
Het says to Sadiq, Ali woke me up quite a bit earlier, thank you. Ali is very thoughtful and kind.
I want to roll an insight check on that to see if he's like being,
like being sarcastic or truthful. Roll insight.
That'd be a 12.
A 12? Yeah, it's kind of hard to read. I mean, you get the impression he's telling the truth, but you're not entirely sure. It seems reasonably genuine. Reasonably. I mean,
Just
you
shake
know,
my head and go,
yeah, you know Hit
I've
as
never
well.
known Ellie to be thoughtful.
Well, Shim woke me up, and I am here, and I am happy to be going to our friends' gift-giving, calling, whatever this is. Fiala has never put us wrong. So thanks, Ellie, wherever she is, for waking me up.
She's in the room with you guys. I'd imagine you guys have all sort of congregated back in the main hall, so you're all sort of together. And the whole time this conversation's going on, Alessandra is probably standing there grinning from ear to ear.
Yep.
And also to Alessandra, at this point, I think you're starting to feel obviously a lot more comfortable with the group, even though you've had this issue with the whole guild thing, the thieves guild and stuff. I would imagine by now it would be up to you, obviously, but I'll get you to roll just a d6 for me, and I'm gonna DM you something based on your roll.
4.
4, okay, and it'll be your choice whether you do it or not. So up to you whether you decide to do that or not.
Cool.
I would imagine by this stage that you would be feel comfortable to do that at any time. So just you make that decision. With that, you guys collect yourselves and head out towards the coast of Valon, the coastal region of the city. It takes you about an hour to get there. By the time you get there, you get to the end of the docks. You sort of keep walking at the end of the docks, and there on the shores, and the moon's out. It's not a full moon. It's probably more like a 3/4 moon, but it's still a very clear night. The moon is quite bright, and in the moonlight, standing on the shores, you find Fiala waiting for you guys. Fiala, take it away.
All right.
DM
Yeah.
in Discord.
Once they all are standing there, I'll say, I know I haven't said much about myself, but I wanted to share this. Vigilia, if you'll remember from when we fled Cass's lands, he wasn't only my druid mentor, he was my protector and my best friend. And just before he passed, I made a link to the beyond so that we can communicate with each other when we can. And I'm telling you this because I want to give you both some peace as my gift for your kindness. But I can only give maybe 2 of you and only a few minutes each. So, Allie, can you take my hand and come over here by the water?
Okay.
So I take Allie's hand, and then with my other hand, I'm going to touch the tip of the water so that it almost doesn't make a ripple. And I'm going to say in Elvish, which is, come to me from the beyond family of this heart. And the waters are going to ripple and bubble in the moonlight and make almost like a sculpture of a shape, a figure standing on top of the water looking at Allie. And I'm going to concentrate and say, Allie, you have 3 questions you can ask.
Now, this figure that you see standing before you, Alessandros, is a familiar figure. It is the shape of a changeling, such as yourself, a male changeling. Doesn't have a lot of features, but you get a very familiar sense about this person. A sense of family washes over you as for this sort of cocks his head to one side and almost beckons you to ask a question. And with that, Fiala, everyone, you'll notice this as the spell completes and this figure rises from the water and appears to be not standing. You can't see his feet. It's almost like a fountain, like it's bubbled up and this figure's emerged from it, and the bottom's sort of still bubbling, like the water is being forced up out of the ocean. Alessandrus's shape changes.
Yeah, I'm dropping form.
You would have had no choice at this point. It was part of the spell, but
Okay, cool.
your because of what's happened, your shape drops to your natural changeling form. Now what you see before you is a pale, very pale-skinned, pale-haired young girl, all of 17 or 18 years old, looking very vulnerable, wide-eyed, not too many distinguishable features as a changeling is. But for the first time, you really see Alessandrus as who she really is. And Alessandrus, you get 3 questions. This figure, this male changeling figure that has you have the sense of family, is beckoning you to ask a question. So you have 3 questions of your choosing. You can ask anything.
Where can I find your father and mother's blades?
You mean your father and mother's blades?
Yeah.
The blades of your ancestors.
That's it, that one.
You ask the question, and the figure, a hand reaches out and not quite touches your shoulder, and you hear a voice, a male's voice. The locked blades reside with a tentacled beast with fangs razor sharp. To the north must seek. Your second question.
Did you fulfill the contract for the guild?
Again, you guys hear this voice as well. It's kind of watery and eerie at the same time. No, the contract was not fulfilled. Not because we failed, but by choice. And your third question.
Where might we find the white dragon?
There's a brief pause for, seems like minutes, but it's probably only a few seconds. And then the voice says, she is closer than you may think. And that's all that is said.
Cool.
And with that, the water recedes, and the form drops, and the water rests back again into almost. You see the rings sort of ripple out, and then the water's calm once more.
I'll keep you informed.
Okay.
I'm gonna let go of Ali's hand, and I'm gonna look warmly at Het and say, Het, could you please take my hand?
Okay, it will do so.
I'm going to take his hand, and I'm going to reach out with my other and touch the tip of the water as before. But this time, I'm going to say in Draconic, Konekes Vedes vihelen dinumino canari. Come to me from the beyond, family of this heart. And the same thing will happen as before. And once the figure stands before head, I will say, ask your questions.
And as before, the waters form a figure. Hit, you're the only one, unless anyone else speaks Draconic, you're the only one that understands what Fiala said.
I do.
I said unless you know Draconic. So, Inari, you also understand what was said. She pronounced it perfectly. It's the first time any one of you have heard what her speak in that, especially Draconic. But I mean, those who don't know Draconic wouldn't understand what she said. But Hit, her pronunciation, her everything was perfect, which impresses you quite substantially. The water again bubbles and forms this shape, and it's a shape you know very well, Het. There's a slightly taller dragonborn shape, wide-shouldered, and you have again it's that same sense of family that Alessandrus just witnessed and felt. And you feel the presence of your elder brother. You have 3 questions.
It looks over to Fiala and says, "That was the nicest voice I've ever heard my own language in." And then he looks to his brother and he says, "I ask not for myself. I wish to know where the destination of what Sadiq is looking for is."
Remind me what Sadiq's looking for?
What Sadiq is after, what Sadiq wants. He
Right.
does not know, he just assumes.
The figure again speaks. It's very watery and sort of misty, but it's also quite gruff, as Dragonborn tend to speak. And he says, "Your friend will get his revenge. He seeks vengeance, and it will be his." The second question.
It wishes to know, is our friend Namaris truly evil or is she truly good?
There's a short pause, and the voice comes back and says, "Namaris is not lost." And that is all. Third question.
It was a vague one, but I'll give him that. Lastly, Hit has friends all around him, and he places his arm around and then points lastly at Fiala. And he says, "And Hit has a beautiful compass," and he takes his compass out and holds it up. "But one thing Hit does not have is a pet. Will Hit one day have a pet?"
Yes, Het will gain the favor of a companion.
Damn,
And with that,
Tootin,
and
that's
with
what Hit wanted to
that,
hear.
and with that, the waters recede once more and settle to calmness, and the sound of the water lapping the shore, slight breeze in the trees, and that is Fiala's gift to Alessandrus and Het. With that, Fiala, you release its hand and you stumble, drained from
It helps her up.
The use of it was quite draining to use that kind of level of power. It was intensive.
Thank you, Ed.
It assumes that everyone, because he knows everyone would have heard him, right?
Yes.
It assumes that everyone would expect him to ask more about our current journey, but it has his reasons for asking what he asked. I appreciate the gesture, Fiala, and I will repay you whenever I can.
A pet head? Really?
Maybe talk to your head at another time when we're not so crowded and we can explain.
Yeah. All right. Well, you should probably also get some rest, I think.
Good plan.
Is there anything else anyone wants to say before you return to the guild house for some much needed rest?
That was a nice gesture, Fiala.
Thanks, Eddie. Wish I could have given Arian you something, but it doesn't work all the time.
No, it was nice just to be allowed to watch.
So I'm supposing we'll probably walk back.
Alessandros, do you keep your natural form or do you reshape shift?
Reshape shift. I
Reshape
don't want to
shift.
spook. I don't want to spook the town folk.
Okay, so you reshape shift back into your male or
Ma-
female form this time.
Male.
Back into the same male form you have been using.
Yeah, as I said, don't want to freak people out.
So I have changed your portrait on the overlay back to your original portrait, so as to not to confuse people. But
Cool.
you return to your male elven form that you have been using recently. You all retire back to the lion's den, and you all retire for the evening. Is there anything you guys want to do before you go to sleep?
Yeah, I think everything's under control.
Anari, anything you want to do before you sleep?
No.
No?
I'm quite happy just to retire.
Okay. Yeah.
Same.
Pardon me.
Yeah, same.
Okay. So, everyone, you've retired to your respective rooms. Thanks, Nutty. You all find sleep. Some easier than others hit. You're still fairly well exhausted, so you crash out pretty quickly. Alessandros, you also, for the first time in a long time, find sleep easily, and you feel a lot more comforted than you have in the past. You now have some information potentially that may help you with your decisions that you have coming. Everyone else, you also find sleep. Your evening goes without event. As you guys probably would assume, or if you didn't know, the guild is warded, so you generally don't have to worry about any too much at the guild while you're staying there. You wake in the morning. You all congregate back into the main guild hall, sit down. A hearty breakfast is prepared. Jeremy tops you all off with coffee, and you've got a selection of fruits and raw meat for Het as usual. While you're all sitting having breakfast, however, here's my notes. The door of the guild swings open. A tall, well-dressed elven man enters the guild hall, stands hand clasped in front of him, looking around at you all. Jeremy approaches him. How can I help you? The man looks down at Jeremy and just ignores him and walks directly up to your guys' table where you were all seated, and stands in front of you.
Het says, I got this. I'll I've been learning some Elven. Kiro Van Toro Vonturis.
I just raise an eyebrow.
And he does the same. He looks at you, raises an eyebrow, and he scans over your wall briefly, pausing briefly as he looks all of you in the eye. He also, lastly, focusing on Fiala for a few moments, and then looks sort of directly at you all. And he says, I have come to see the lions of Valond on the behest of my master. He asks that you cease this futile quest to thwart his plans. If you continue your path, there will be dire consequences for you and for those around you. And he sort of just looks at you intently, sort of waiting for any kind of response.
Who is your master?
That does not concern you, elf. The council no longer exists. They cannot aid you. The Orc army is no more. And he raises a hand.
We'll do what we want.
He raises a hand to you, Sadiq, and says, "The Orc army is no more. There is no one to stop what is coming. The assassins are all but destroyed. No more left to hunt the Dova. The followers of the betrayer, torn apart, will not aid you further. As for the betrayer, she will not succeed in her task."
We'll see about that.
And he stares intently at you, Fiala, and again sort of glances over your wall, stands up straight, and says to you, Sadiq, Cass sends his regards, and takes half a step back and puts his hand on his sword.
Go back and lick your master's ass. Go on, go away.
Sadiq, no.
You will show respect when you speak to me. And his eyes flash a brilliant red, and his form shifts for a moment, and you see dark red scale across one side of his face, and he winces and turns, and then controls himself once more, and the elven shape reforms, and he sort of just composes himself again, and sort of backs up and says, "We will meet again, lions." And with that, the door of the guild swings open, and in walks a large, wide-shouldered figure wearing dark plate armor, carrying a large shield, standing almost shoulder to floor, with a twisted face with a tongue hanging out. A very intricate looking shield, but very morbid at the same time, carrying a large single-handed weapon emanating a dark misty aura. Puts hand on the elf's shoulder and speaks.
It's time to go, my master.
And he sort of turns and looks at the figure, turns and looks back at you guys and grins. As he grins, you see a row of razor-sharp teeth. They both then turn and leave the guild, doors closing behind them. As the doors close, around the outside door, you see a flash of arcane energy and light, which hit, you would know, again, a form of teleport spell. And they are gone.
Damn it, Anari was just about to jump up and run to the doors.
You can
That
jump.
was weird.
You can jump up and run to the door if you wish.
I'm going to jump up and run to the doors
Before they close, or
before they close.
before they close. As they're walking out, and as you jump up and run towards the door, you get to the top step, and you are hit in the face with some form of energy, and you were thrown backwards as spark of arcane energy drives you back onto your ass.
Ah, great. Does it hurt?
You take no damage, but it hurt. It definitely rung your bells.
Hit stands up. Inari, are you alright?
I shake my head. I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay then, Hit sits back down.
Het should fix his stats.
It hasn't had a full rest yet.
No, it is not.
Hasn't he? Oh, bugger.
Everyone's had a
Full rest
long.
overnight.
Everyone's had a long rest, but so with that, guys, what are you going to do? What is your next move?
But thank you, Ellie. I hadn't taken the long rest.
I was hoping to chase them down, but never mind.
I come away with, at least we're ruffling some feathers.
Yep, we're annoying someone.
I look at them
Agreed.
and I say I feel that was Kosis. And I do believe that that was Neymaris.
You don't know who Neymaris is.
And I do believe that that was his champion.
Hit was about to ask that question anyway. Hit was going to ask DM, was that meant to be Neymaris?
Roll a intelligence check, which for you would be at disadvantage.
At disadvantage.
I'll do that. too.
Anyone who wants to determine whether the the armored figure was indeed your old ally and friend Neymaris, you may roll an intelligence check.
I rolled a 2. Take away 1 is 1.
Hit, you have no idea. To you, it's just a armored paladin. 19?
I rolled a nat 20.
Natural 20.
Woohoo!
That's 2.
That's 2 natural 20s with a 19, and anyone who rolled over a 15.
I rolled exactly a 15.
As the figure sort of spoke, even though the accent and intonation was different, it was her eyes that gave it away. Those yellowy red, aurid eyes of Neymaris shone brightly through the slits of the helmet, and you indeed recognized your ally, Neymaris. You can pass that information on. Keep it to yourself. Up to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to head because he said it. I'm gonna say, I think you were.
Hit was hoping to. Well, Hit was hoping she was on our side again. Maybe it fought and got away.
No, we'll have to save her, and yeah, we'll have to take care of Kosis as well. We still need those things. Though it is good to know that we are rocking the boat.
Yes, getting under their skin.
So Kosis came all the way up here to say hello, I guess.
And he didn't even acknowledge my have a go at Alvin. I was trying so hard. How did I do, Fiona?
I think we need more practice.
It's quite hard to get that language so beautifully with a voice such like mine, but I am trying.
So, so with that, you finish your breakfast, and with the discussions, anyone who wants to also roll another check for me, up to you whether you want to actually, Inari and Fiala roll this one, sorry. Can you both roll an intelligence check for me again? And you hit. Sorry.
16.
At disadvantage.
At disadvantage for you, yes.
Dirty 22.
Yeah, 3 natural 20s, Drax. So Fiala, what was yours, Inari?
16.
16. Again, you went over 15. So you guys,
Yes.
obviously you figured it out that it was pretty obviously with his break in his form was Kosis. You noticed that his scales were not deep red like they should be. They were a lot darker, which was odd. But you also noticed that you also kind of figured that if he's able to breach the veil of the hells and take on human form or humanoid form, even for a short period of time, strength is growing. So things are escalating.
Well, what's our plan for today? We can't do much about that. They teleported away. I guess, to be
There's
honest,
3
I feel
nat
like I
ones.
should be laying down longer.
Yeah, you need to rest for a while longer. And it's every 24 hours the jug produces oil.
Yes. And we can pretty much call it there if you want, guys. So we're pretty much on time, and pretty much the events that I wanted to have happen have happened. So unless you guys want to carry on,
I still want to get this.
we can do
battle axe.
Yep, we can do the identifications. That's
And
that's
the
one thing you could do the other
other
day.
and the other items
Yep.
that we have.
You can, well, the day is yours. You guys have got this day to do what you need to do. You obviously know that Hit needs to rest. So you've got a full day, pretty much a full 24 hours to do what you wish. So we can do the identification. That'll be cool.
Hit
Wanna
will
go
go
do
to
that?
his room and tell the party he's going there to just
rest.
relax.
Hey, would you like me to leave a bucket there for you, maybe, of cold water?
Actually, I drink a bucket of cold water every morning to keep me fresh and alive. That would be well. Well, you're so thoughtful lately, Ellie. And Hit gives Ellie a big hug, like a beer hug, lift off the ground hug.
Thanks. Not a problem.
You're so kind.
I'm gonna go sit in my room.
So get the identifications done. I'm gonna go talk to Thorfy about the scroll that we asked him to make before we left. I'm also going to apologise about leaving so abruptly, but yeah.
No problem. So you're gonna go. Well, you need to go to Thorfy to do the identifications anyway.
Yeah. So there we go. I'll accompany
So
Ellie to that.
who is going to get the identifications done?
I will.
Yeah, me and Ellie.
Okay. Right. So who else is doing what? It's going to rest. And Ari, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I am thinking that I might just see what Fiala's up to and hang with her if she's alright with it.
And Fiona, what are you doing?
I am in my room contemplating Kosis visiting.
Okay. So, Anari, if you wanted to go visit Fiona and have a conversation, you can do that. We'll come back to that in a moment. We'll go with Sadiq and Alessandro's going to the Mages Guild, the Arcanus Potterum, and to get some things identified. So you make it there. You've been there several times. You get there, and Thorfy's not there, but there is another mage there that will be able to identify your items for you. You're coming to have some things identified? Yes?
That is correct.
Would you mind placing the items on the table?
Where's Thorfy, by the way?
He is indisposed at the moment. He is in a meeting.
Put the battle axe up.
He did leave this for you, and he hands you the scroll that he was working on for you guys.
Excellent.
So that is the I can't remember exactly what that was. I think it was a portal scroll. So
Yeah, it was an emergency activation of the portal.
That's right.
Get back to Boulogne.
There you go. I believe it had 3 or 4 charges, if I remember correctly, or was it 1? I think it might have only 1 charge.
I'm going to give it to Heb when we get back.
Yeah,
anyway,
so it was a single use scroll, if I remember correctly. So, firstly, he picks up the battle axe, and you watch him, his eyes roll over white, and he sort of moves his hands around, picks as the item sort of picks up and floats in front of him, sort of spins it around, and then it floats back down, lands on the table, and you see the arcane flash. He goes, "Ah, yes, a very nice weapon, well balanced. This is the vicious battle axe." So that's in D&D Beyond. You'll be able to find it in there. Basically, when you roll a 20 on your attack roll, it is with this magic weapon, the target takes an extra 7 damage of the weapon's damage type.
I'll hand that to Sadiq.
What else did you have? You had the iron flask to...
Yeah, the iron flask and the sword. Just making sure that they're actually what we were looking for.
As you again, you place the items in. You sort of look. He looks at the item and just waves his hand over the flask, and his eyes widen for a moment. And he goes, "Oh, this one is special. This is one they call the Iron Flask. Thorfi has told me that this is one of the items that you were seeking, and you indeed have found it. That is also in the D&D Beyond, so whoever wants to equip that, we can put it in your bag of holding for now until you determine who may want to use it. There's a lot of writing there, so you may want to read that. It's actually it is a wondrous item. And I believe what were we looking at? So the sword was the other one, was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Again, same things he did with the battle axe. Picks the weapon up, floating in between his hands. His eyes are wide. You see the arcane energy sparking from his hands and around the weapon. Places the weapon down, and he goes, "This weapon is the Frostbrand Scimitar. It's a very special weapon. It requires attunement, but it is a very good weapon. When you hit with this particular weapon, the target takes 1d6 cold damage. In addition, while you hold the sword, you have a resistance to fire damage. In freezing temperatures, the blade sheds a bright light, 10-foot radius, and a dim light for 10 feet. When you draw this weapon, you can extinguish any non-magical flames within 30 feet also. But it gives you fire resistance as well as doing the extra cold damage.
You can only use that property once per hour.
No, from looking at that, the resistance, once you're attuned, the resistance is...
the non-magical flame I was talking about.
Yeah, so yeah, that's for putting out non-magical flames, once per hour. But that's still pretty good.
So what's it called again?
Frostbrand Scimitar.
I'm going to look at Ali and say, I think Inaris would probably benefit from having that weapon. I would give it to Het because, it's cold and everything, but he doesn't use swords.
So, with that, is there anything else you wish to identify?
No, I think that was it.
Very well. Peace be with you.
Yes, please give my apologies to Thorfi for leaving so abruptly, but, duty and all.
It is quite all right. I will pass that message on. And peace be with you and your friends, and we hope to see you again soon. And he turns and walks away.
Is there a scrap of paper and a pen or something I can write
Yes.
down with?
If you head back down to the main foyer, there's parchment and ink and quills at your disposal.
Cool. I'm going to go quickly write a note to Thorfy, and in
Yep.
the note it's going to say, I think we're irritating some individuals. Kosis paid us a visit with what we believe was Namaris.
Okay.
They say that what we're doing is futile, but they wouldn't come to see us if it really was. So any more information you can get us would be appreciated.
Roger that. I will just make a quick note of that so I don't forget. So you guys finish up there and return, head back to the guild, or is there anything else you want to do before going back?
I'm going to leave it because I've got to wait.
Oh, you got to wait, yeah, for you.
Tonight.
Yeah.
Tonight I'll go. Yeah, that night I'll go
Okay.
see the priest.
So, with that, we'll cross over to Anari and Fiela. Anari, what are you up to?
I just wanted to pop in and say hi to Fiela.
Didn't do so?
Just say, how's it? How are you? How are you going? How are things?
Pretty good. A little shaken that Kosis actually came here. Did you notice his scales? I'm guessing it's Kosis. Do you think so?
I think it was. Be almost certain of it. We'll find him, and we will deal with him as we need. You must miss your friend, Namaris.
Very much. We were pretty close when we were vacationing together. We stayed with each other, so it's kind of tough to see her like that.
Hopefully we can get her back.
Why are you really here? Were you really sent from the Emerald Enclave, or?
No, I was sent from the Emerald Enclave. I'm here to help you guys. That's all I know. I get given orders and I must do as I'm told. So I was asked to come and help you, so here I am.
And they don't tell you anything why? They just tell you what to do and you do?
That's right. That's the life of a soldier.
Do you like it with us?
Yeah, it's good. I'm actually really enjoying this group and helping with the battles that I seem to be getting myself into trouble in lately. Doesn't often happen.
Do you think the Emerald Enclave has any idea where we might find this dragon, this white dragon?
I have no clue, unfortunately. Or would already be on the way there.
Roll a history check, Anaris, please.
Anaris now, is it?
Anaris, yeah. That's what Sadiq.
History,
That's what Sadiq called you. So that's what I'm going to call you from now on.
Sadiq messes up everyone's name.
So possibly I might know where this.
What'd you roll?
16.
16.
Do I know?
You don't know, but you believe the Emerald Enclave does.
Okay, I believe that the Emerald Enclave knows where. Ildred.
And why aren't they telling you then? Because it seems like that would help.
I don't know. I don't ask questions. I just do.
You're gonna ask a lot of questions on this team.
I see that you're all interesting people. Humanoids in forms. Haven't quite worked out that Sadiq yet.
He's a tough one. I've tried to ask him about his culture, and he gave me some interesting tips. I haven't tried yet, but I don't know whether to trust him or not.
Oh, he seems harmless enough. Just very shielded.
Yeah. Maybe I should just, listen to him.
Possibly. Anyhow, I'm going to let you carry on with what you were doing. I think I need to go meditate for a little while.
Thank you, Inari. I'm
Have a-
glad you came by.
Have a good day.
And with that conversation ended, Hit, I believe you wanted to do something.
Yes, Hit deliberately waits until he sees Inari leave Viola's room, and then he waits for a few moments and heads down and knocks on her door.
Come in.
Hit pokes his head through the door just a slight, and he says, I should be resting, but do you have 5 minutes just to spare? I have a couple of things I need to ask.
Yeah, I was just talking about you. Come on in.
Hit closes the door and sits down near Viola, and he says, you were talking about me?
In a way, yeah. What were you staying up with in your mind? What's going on?
First things, I wanted to check in and make sure you were good. After last night, after you expended a lot of energy doing that spell, and yeah, are you doing good after that?
Yeah, I'll be all right. It's not my first time, so yeah. I thought it would be nice for you to see your brother again.
Yeah, sort of. It was weird. He's supposed to be dead, right? So, nonetheless, I don't like asking for things for myself, generally. That's another reason why I was here, though. As much as I appreciate that, if you ever do that again, please do it for someone who needs more help than I am in a good position, and I really do appreciate the sentiment. But I think someone like Sadiq definitely needs more aid than I. And I appreciate that you did it for Ali as well. I think that helps him a lot. But in the end, what do you want? Is there not something you should be asking the dead?
I don't have to ask the dead because I know exactly what I want.
That's fair.
So a pet? Really?
Right, yeah, so I did say I was going to tell you. So, the second thing I wanted to do was learn a little more Elvish, because it did not go so well down with the tall man down there earlier. And, just was hoping we could engage in some more of that at some stage.
Oh yeah. Whenever you're ready or free. It takes a little bit.
It does, it's hard to get my tongue around the words through all these teeth.
Yeah, it is all about the tongue, isn't it, really?
You seem to get your mouth around Dragonborn very well last night. I was pretty impressed.
Draconic.
Keep it together, guys, please.
Yes. That's what I meant, the Draconic language. I apologize. So the pet, right. So lately, before my sleep, I have been conversing with my deities. It's the Steel Lady and the Rattlehead, and they have been pointing me in directions. I don't know if you noticed, but I have not needed the use of light or torches, which has made me a little... I've been forgetting to light up my loot so everyone can see, but I can see perfectly well in the dark now.
That's good. I just never have gotten anything for free. There was always a price, if you know what I'm saying.
I totally agree. I don't disagree at all. Nothing is for free. We have to do the things we are doing and keep doing good for me to keep getting these abilities. And why abilities? The second thing I've noticed, and this is why I ask about a pet. You cast forth the dragon, and you turn into animals, and I think that's amazing. But I've noticed lately, after conversing with the Steel Lady, and conversing with the Rattlehead, that sometimes when you're in an animal form, or even with the carrion crawlers, and I think I understand them somewhat. Are you able to do me a favor and turn into some sort of animal now? See if I can converse with you?
All right, Het. Well, I guess it's time to show you this. I'm gonna wild shape into a beaver.
And right before your eyes hit, Fiela transforms into the elusive beaver.
Het looks at it for a little while, and he says, first, he casts Speak with Animals, and he says, wow, that is way more different looking than I was expecting. But he says it out loud in beaver language, so hopefully you understand.
And she does. You understand him perfectly, Fiela, and you are able to reply in beaver.
And I titter back, what exactly are you expecting?
I don't know, I thought they would look much nicer. I guess maybe that's why they're food.
Oh. Well.
Drax.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be offensive. I prefer Fiela in Fiela form and not Fiela in animal form. I'm sorry, you just look like food to me now. But I mean, I can understand you and you can understand me. That is excellent, right?
Yeah, that's a good thing. It's good.
Okay. That confirms what I was thinking. You can change back. This is awkward.
Okay, shapeshift back.
And she shapes back to Fiela form. Humanoid Fiela instead of beaver Fiela.
It is, so I guess I do appreciate all your help and everything you've done for me. And, I really need to head back to sleep, but first, and Het breathes his cool air into his hand and uses prestidigitation at the same time to make, like little ice flowers. And he hands these ice flowers over to her and then heads out.
Oh, wait, before he leaves.
Yep.
I'm very touched by his ice flowers, and I give a little smile, so I set them on, well, I guess the bed's near me. And then I say, I'd like to give you something too. And then I rush at him and jump up, because he's taller than me.
Yep.
Trying to choke his neck.
Yeah, so Fiela runs at you as you sort of turn and she says, hey, wait a minute, and jumps up, both hands or one hand?
I'm going to go both hands because my strength's 0.
So she literally jumps up, sort of facing you, almost wraps her legs around your waist and both hands on your throat, choking. Not to the point where it's cutting off your airway, but there's enough pressure there that it could be a concern. So, yeah, so how you react however you're going to react.
I'm sorry. You looked beautiful as a beaver.
Fiela, what do you do?
The beaver was lovely. It was the nicest beaver I'd ever seen. I apologize.
So you submit? Do you submit?
I mean, Het thinks that he could throw her off and crush her, but then he realizes that is not a good idea. So he says, yes, I submit.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to jump down.
And with that, an excited Fiela lets you go and drops down and is still standing in front of you.
Sadiq told me to do that, and I'm so glad he did.
Sadiq told you to attack me and try to choke me and tell me to submit?
Basically, yeah, the short version. I mean, I asked him how you can tell if a person likes you, and he suggested that. So yeah, I think
Oh, I see what's going on here. You, Fiela, sit down a second. Hits it next to her on the bed. You are, I think, this is what they call, you have been given the nighttime beaver, just like what happened to me. They have tricked you like you tricked me.
Oh, what? Okay.
But Hit is happy you like it. Maybe do that in front of them next time, because I think that would be a good joke. Just like Hit eating the little beaver. This could be extremely hilarious.
So it's not real then.
It's not real. What part is not real?
I mean, that's not true. It was just a joke then. I mean,
I think, unless that's how orcs do it, but that is not how Dragonborn shows their affection that I know of.
Oh, how do they show their affection?
See how we are sitting here and conversing and making friendly like, and how we have done so in the past. That, you know how sometimes you touch me on the nose or whatever. That is more like the affection that would be shown, I guess.
Oh, this is really awkward now.
I think it's just like normal, but, if that's how orcs do it, well, good for them. I'm just so glad you weren't a huge muscle-bound woman, because that could have really hurt.
Sadiq, I'm gonna need some time alone.
Thank you for, burying yourself to me. I need to go and rest, but we shall catch up tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Please don't be sad. Hit thinks you're a wonderful person.
The flowers were beautiful.
They will melt soon. I would not leave them on the bed, otherwise the maid might think you had an accident.
All right.
I can make you more.
It's okay.
And with that, it leaves.
It leaves.
Fiona sits on the bed, chomping on her ice flowers. Sadly.
We leave Het and Fiona there. Sadiq and Alisonus, you then return back to the guild house. Sadiq, that evening, unless anyone else wants to do anything in that time, but that evening you do retrieve your amulet, and the cleric does inform you that they were able to, on a dice roll, they were able to, in that short 24-hour period, increase your amulet's range out to 50 feet.
Thank you.
So now everything that is either evil, undead, or fiendish within 50 feet will cause your amulet to glow the respective color. Right. Is there anything else anyone would like to do before the close of the show? We'll close it at the evening's rest.
Is Sadiq back yet?
Everyone should by this time would probably be back to the guild house. It'll be now night time.
This is gonna hurt.
I'm gonna go to his room. Is he in his room? Sadiq, where are you?
Pretty much. Well, depending on where you want to approach him, you could approach him in the guild hall or in his room later on. Up to you.
Where are you, Sadiq?
In the guild hall.
I'm gonna go down looking for him, and when I see him,
you find him in the guild hall.
I'm gonna cast polymorph on him.
Nice.
What is there a save for that? I think there is, isn't there? If you're passing it on an unwilling creature. double check here. I'm pretty sure there might be. Where is your polymorph spell?
Actually, this might suck. I might not have.
You
the
don't have. You
polymorph
don't
on.
have
Shit!
it. You don't have it. You don't have it prepared.
For the sake of story.
Just cast disintegrate.
So you cannot cast polymorph because you do not have it prepared at this time. So you go down and what do you do to Sadiq in replacement of the polymorph spell?
I'm gonna hit him with entangle.
Okay, I don't think there's any. Is there a save for that?
Strength save.
Strength save,
Crap.
which is a good save for Sadiq.
I'm very frustrated.
Yeah, so Fiala storms into the room, looks at you intently, and she waves her hand in the air and casts Entangle, a strength saving throw, please.
That one.
That one.
That would be a 3 because it's a nat 1.
Was it a nat 1?
Yes!
Holy shit! Sadiq, as you sort of turn and look at Fiala and sort of give a look of concern with this intent look on her face, she casts a spell and vines break through the floor and just tangle up around your legs and up over your shoulders, pulling tight and restraining you on the spot. You are now restrained.
So I'm going to look at Fiala and go, I take it you're upset with me about something.
As the vine's going around him, I go, that's how we say we don't like someone in Wood Elf. And I go to bed.
And you're going to leave him down there? How long does that
Yes.
last? Up to a minute. So yeah, so you're concentrating. You go to your room and concentrate for a minute. Sadiq, you're pretty much caught there for an entire minute. Every now and again, the vines give you a really good squeeze. You don't take any damage, but you think you might have cracked a rib. So,
What it was I did.
so with that, we're going to call it there, guys. That we'll pick up the next show the following morning. So mark another long rest. Hit with that second long rest, that'll be your 24 hours. So your exhaustion will end the next show. So,
Okay, I'll release it now.
what was our nat 1s? And it was what, 4 nat 1s?
3, 4.
3 nat 20s?
3 20s, 4 ones.
So let's see who had the 4 1s. Evldoa had 4 1s. Baz had 6 nat 1s. Dark Ravine had 6 nat 1s. Yanti had 4 nat 1s. Oh no, 1 nat 1, sorry. Gungo had 3 nat 1s. So Evldoa gets the 4 natural 1s. 20s, how many did we 20s? We had 3 natural 20s?
Yep.
So we had Nutty with 3 natural 20s, but she only got 2 nat 1s. Evldoa had 5 natural 20s. Everyone else was way off. So, how are we going to do this, guys? We got, it was what, 3, 4. And
Nutty and Evildoer.
yeah, so Nutty's got the 3 natural 1s, but only 2, the 3 natural 20s, but only 2 nat 1s. And I've got 5 nat 20s and 4 nat 1s. So do we do a dice roll? We'll let you guys decide.
Yeah, do the dice roll.
Do the dice roll. Make it fair. So we'll go over to the battle map. We'll go 1 to 3 will be Nutty will win the game, and 4 to 6 will be Evldoa. That would be a 1. So Nutty, congratulations, you have won Doom Eternal on Steam. I hate you very much right now, but congratulations for you. So you can talk to Fiala about receiving that prize.
That almost sounded rigged, goddammit. Play between Evil and Nutty. But no, that's cool. Thank you.
I mean, again, it's your prize. It's up to you what you do with it. It's going to be a gift from Fiala, so you won't be able to give it away. It'll be yours to keep. It is up to you whether you decide to give it anyone else on that list if you don't want to play it, or if you have no intention on playing it. I will give you the list of people just in case you decide to tell Fianti
Sounds like Chianti.
on that
Nice
list
little
was
dish.
Neon Reptile, Drax Pecker, Gung Ho, Dark Ravine, Baz, obviously Yanti yourself, and myself. So if you do not wish to play that game and you want to pass it on to someone else, that is completely up to you. Right, guys, thank you very much for hanging out with us tonight. Amazing anniversary show. We had some cool events. Again, thank you to Yanti for providing the prize for tonight. Also, just to let you guys know, the Fiela's gift was an idea that Fiela came up with on her own and presented to me, which I thought was an awesome idea. So that part of the story was not something I designed. But we're going to call it
very
there.
helpful.
But it was awesome. It was very well planned. We had a great time. No one died, which is always good. And we will see you all again next Sunday night for the next show. Reptile, what's up? How you doing, buddy? So I will be back, obviously, tomorrow with some gaming, hopefully, but depending on how things go with the PC. But we should be back with some, if not Modern Warfare, if I'm still having issues with that, then we'll be doing probably some Division 2 or Warcraft or something. We'll figure something out. Awesome, Ravine. Cheers, guys, for hanging out. I better go back to this scene so we can see everybody. Thank you very much for everyone to hang out. You guys rock. Thank you to the resubs, the raiders, the followers, and everyone that subbed to the YouTube channel. I think we still need 3 new subs. So if you haven't subbed to the YouTube channel, please do. 3 subs to get our custom URL. It's good to see you, dude. Honestly, we talked to you about you at the start of the show. The fact you started this campaign with us, and obviously due to IRL stuff, you couldn't continue. But still very much a part of the community and a part of the show, regardless. Yeah. So that's it. We will see you guys next week for the next installment of the D&D show. But we are going to raid someone. We've got enough in the chat to raid. Let's see who else is on. I think we should raid another D&D channel. Let's see if we've got another...
Oh, Friendly, he's still streaming.
Is he? I think we should
Yep.
raid another D&D channel. Because those guys... Are they playing D&D? They are. They've raided us, so we'll raid them. These guys are Kiwis as well. They run a regular show. So we're going to raid them. I'm just going to do the thank you thing, and then we're going to do that. I'm going to hang out in the Discord for a bit, so if you want to come and... I'll probably hang out in the Bale Discord, so !Discord. If you haven't joined it, please do. And I'm going to hang out in the general chat there for a little bit after the show. If you want to come and have a chat, definitely come and see us. There's the link. Thank you very much. So we will see you guys next time. Until then, stay safe. Make sure you wash your hands. Do all the things that you're supposed to do to keep you and your family safe. And we will see you tomorrow for some gaming. Exactly. Stay the fuck at home.